You know how they say you learn something new every day, right? Well, I learned something new this week thanks to Ken Jennings and Jeopardy because I was watching it, and I don't get to watch it as much as I used to. I don't know why. I guess it's been busy for the last little while. I love me some Jeopardy. Anyway, one of the clues on Jeopardy was in reference to that song right there, and the album notes. If you read that stuff, which I would do when I was much younger and took the time to do that. I loved the album notes. Anyway, I didn't do it for Thriller, though, because I had the cassette, Michael Jackson's album. But that song promises a rap by Vincent Price. So there you go. You know, the part where it's like darkness falls across the land, the midnight hour is close at hand. I wouldn't necessarily call it a rap, but you put Vincent Price's words to music, and I guess that's what they call it. But that's what the album notes of Thriller promise, as I learned on Jeopardy this week. And I start with Thriller today because, of course, it is that day, isn't it? The 31st of October, which is Halloween. And so on this All Request Friday, as every Friday is on the show, we are going to play your favorite Halloween songs. If you are yet to make your request, well, if you want to be a part of this trick or treat, you better get that request in because we have filled up quickly. Drop me an email, mike@570news.com, or just give us a call. Let Jen know what song you would like to hear a little bit of. It has to be Halloween themed and or related. And we're almost full for the day, but I think we got room for a couple of more if you want to have one of your favorite scary tunes played on this All Request Friday Halloween edition. This Friday also happens to be, because it's the last Friday of the month, the launch of the annual Poppy campaign. So if you see folks wearing their poppies, you'll know why. If you're not wearing one yet, make sure you pick one up and support this great effort in our community. Of course, those poppy purchases support veterans in our community. So I got that much right today. When I came to work and so many of my coworkers were dressed up, I love Halloween. I don't know why. Every year I kind of feel left out because I don't think of getting dressed up. I do have a Spider-Man onesie. I don't think that's necessarily appropriate for a 54-year-old man anymore. So I'll just save that for special occasions, I suppose. But I could do so much better, and I just haven't. And that's my fault. And I feel so left out when I get to work. Nobody even brought Halloween candy, though. Anyway, I did remember my Poppy because the Poppy campaign launches today. And when I was enjoying my coworkers' costumes, one of my coworkers, no, I'm going to tell you, it was Mark Douglas. He said it to me. He said, "You dressed like a grumpy man today." I'm like, "Hey, welcome to the show, pal." The grumpy man is in session. Let's go to the phones early on this Halloween morning because you want to talk scary. Let's talk about our buddy Chef D.
Well, Mr. Farwell, how are you?
Hey, listen, I'm great, and I want to be clear. It's not you who is scary. It's just the team that you cheer for in hockey, which I presume you're calling about, but I'm not sure.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just having breakfast with my other friend, Mike, and we solved all the world problems.
Oh, I love it.
You should have an easy show today, okay?
Thank you for the help. I appreciate it.
So I haven't called in, or you haven't called me to, wish me, happiness to my amazing team from the East that is in first place.
Go Habs. Go Habs.
Okay. Did you hear that? That was a sneak attack. That was like a jump scare. And that had to be Mike. Why would Mike do that to me? I thought you solved the world's problems. Now you've just created a problem for me on this show today. Listen, my quote-unquote friends have come out of the woodwork this last week or so. I know what's going on in the NHL. I know, and it's painful. But unlike my favorite team in the National Football League, I'm sticking with the Leafs. I've given up on that football team this year. I'm so upset with them. I was upset with them at the beginning of the season when they signed that geriatric quarterback who he's just not a nice man. He's really not a nice man. Oh my goodness. Anyway, enough about the sports. I haven't given up totally on that football team, but I'm not paying any more attention this season because they make me so angry. So I just whatever happens to that football team happens. But my Leafs, I'm a true blue. Austin Matthews is still the greatest player in the world. The Leafs are going to figure this out, right? Stick with me, Leafs fans. Stick with me. Okay. Can I tell you a gross story? Is this allowed? Is that okay? It's Halloween. But I gotta tell you this, I think. I've been actually debating whether or not I should tell you this. But whatever. It's an open book. And it's just, I want you to know how weird this is for me and has been since yesterday in and around the dinner hour. So me being me, see, I've been struggling for a little while because my right ear was suffering from some sort of blockage. And I say for a while because this dates back to the summer when I went on my motorcycle trip. And I came back with an ear that it was not perfect. And I've gone down this road before, and I've had to do the old earwax removal. I'm sorry if you actually, I don't care if Sheffy's still eating breakfast after he made that phone call a moment ago. But anyway, I'm not trying to make your morning difficult. But listen, it happens to lots of us, okay? And sometimes there's such a buildup of this earwax, you got to go and get it removed. That's just life, right? But I procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated. And for a while I thought, you know what, this thing's kind of worked itself out. But I think my body was just kind of adapting to it. So it got to the point where I was off balance. It was not going well for yours truly, not to mention I could hardly hear. It affected me so much. But here's the crazy part. So I go last night to have the earwax removed. And that's the last time I'll mention earwax, I promise. But now today, it's like I'm hearing a whole new world. There are ranges and octaves and I don't know what coming into my ear. It's almost as disorienting as it was before I got it unplugged. This is the strangest feeling. I can't get over it. And it's been more than 12 hours. My body has still not adjusted to this actual use of my ears and being able to hear things so clearly. I feel like I'm the bionic woman, right? She had the supersonic hearing. It was the bionic man with the eye and the bionic woman with the hearing. Honest to goodness gracious. Like the birds chirping are chirping more shrilly, right? I'm telling you, I can hear everything. You're not sneaking one past the goalie today. I promise you that. But it's also at the same time very, very weird. It might as well be because it's Halloween, gosh darn it, and it might as well be as weird a day as can be. So there's my gross story about having earwax removed. I highly recommend it. Don't procrastinate, for starters. If you notice that it's starting to build up, get that stuff taken care of. But I promise you on the other end, it is a whole new auditory world.
It's the final countdown!
All right, let's get to your Farwell Show 5. For this Friday morning, the 31st of October, a.k.a. Halloween, and number one brings you to this day just chock full of choices, isn't it? We've got the Kitchener Rangers at home to the Sudbury Wolves tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays at home to the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight, with the Blue Jays having a chance to win the World Series. And, oh, yeah, we've got free candy to collect today. Did I mention that my coworkers brought no candy? They make fun of me for dressing like a grumpy man, but they bring me no candy. That's fine. It's fine, coworkers. Maybe you can do a little mix and match today with all of those things. Some hockey, some baseball, some trick-or-treating. Good luck and Godspeed. Number 2 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's very pleased with the outcome of his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the APEC summit in South Korea. Carney called it a turning point in Canada-China relations. Number 3, recovery efforts are underway across parts of the Caribbean after Hurricane Melissa left death and destruction in its path. Canada has promised $7 million in humanitarian relief for the countries affected by the storm, including Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba. Number 4 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the U.S. Justice Department is investigating whether leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement defrauded donors who contributed millions of dollars during racial justice protests in 2020. Now, in recent weeks, federal law enforcement officials stateside have issued subpoenas and warrants as part of an investigation into the black-led organizations. This recent burst of investigative activity is unfolding at a time when civil rights groups in the U.S. have raised concerns about the Trump administration targeting left-leaning groups. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, The Waterloo Regional Health Network Foundation hosts its second annual 911 hockey game tomorrow with regional police and fire services lacing up the skates for a friendly, philanthropic effort aimed at raising money for children's care in our community. So we're going to have a team from Waterloo Regional Police playing against a team from the City of Cambridge Fire Department, and this game will take place at the Memorial Auditorium tomorrow. It's going to run from 3 until 5. The doors open at 2:30. Tickets cost just $10 for adults, $5 for children, and you can get them at 911hockey.ca. I had a chance to be a part of this last year. It's tons of fun. Tomorrow, I'm in Brampton with our Kitchener Rangers, so I won't be there. But the odd is available, and the 911 hockey game is going on in support of Waterloo Regional Health Foundation. Get your tickets at 911hockey.ca. And that is your Farwell Show 5 for this Friday morning. Just ahead of your not $1 million question this Friday morning. Back to the phones quickly. Gary, Farwell's Force member number 41. Good morning.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's an exciting day.
Oh my gosh!
Blue Jays.
Like, how do we contain ourselves today? I don't even know why. I feel like I should be Ferris Bueller. You remember at the beginning of the movie, he looks out the window and says, "How can I possibly be expected to handle school on a day like today?"
Right?
Yeah, Gary, how can I possibly be expected to handle work on a day like today? Like, what is this company doing to me?
Well, you know what? At least you're going to be home,
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. Gary, I ask you again. How can I possibly be expected to handle work?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I'll be working, transit from 3 to 9:45, and then I'll get in my truck, put the radio on, listen to it until I get home, and then turn on the TV. So, unfortunately, I'm going to miss some of it. But I wish you guys luck tonight with the Rangers, even though I'm in Guelph.
I know. That's okay. We can.
I still like to send blessings and, support your way because I listen to the show and stuff. But I hope you guys lay a beating on them, and I hope the Jays pull through and show the Dodgers that we're not messing around anymore. And hope you have a fantastic day, Mike, and looking forward to the show when I can listen to it when I'm in the car.
All right, Gary.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thanks for the call today. Nice to have you checking in as one of our regular 9 a.m.ers. We've got a show full of surprises and stimulating conversation for you today. I promise you that. And while we are at the Memorial Auditorium tonight, Josh Piercy and I broadcasting Rangers Wolves, I promise you, we will also be paying attention to Blue Jays Dodgers, and we will be updating that score as often as we possibly can. That is our pledge to you. So when you tune in to 570 News Radio this evening, and you're listening to some Kitchener Rangers hockey, you will also be getting updates from the Rogers Center, letting you know how our Blue Jays are doing in Game 6 versus Los Angeles. I don't want it to go 7. In fact, I feel very good about the Blue Jays' chances tonight. Every Friday, we have a little bit of fun at the beginning of the show with what I like to call the not $1 million question, because I cannot award you $1 million if you get the answer right. But I will be forever, and I do mean forever, in awe of your brilliance if you can come up with the answer to our not $1 million question today. And that question just so happens to be, the average person eats 36 of these every year. 36. I'm going to give you 2 hints on this, okay? Number 1 is, I think I'm falling behind in this regard, so clearly I'm not average. You can do with that information as you wish. And number 2 is it's not butter tarts. I'm not trying to play a little trick on you because of how much I love butter tarts. This is not Farwell related. Would you believe, though, that the average person eats 36 of these every year? What is it that the average person eats 36 of every year? Take your best guess at our not $1 million question today. And you know what I'm going to do? Because I like you so gosh darn much, I'm going to add a couple of Rangers tickets to the game tonight if you can get the answer to the not $1 million question. The average person eats 36 of these every year. What are they? We'll start taking your guesses right after this on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky, the Addams Family. Their house is a museum. When people come to see them, they really are a scream. The Addams Family.
Wouldn't be Halloween without the Addams Family TV show theme song by request from Mark on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition. The only question I have after hearing this, because it wouldn't be Halloween without it, how much longer before we hear Bobby Boris Pickett and the Monster Mash today? Because you know it's coming. It wouldn't be Halloween without it. It wouldn't be a Friday without our not $1 million question. A little bit of fun we have every Friday morning on the show. I'll give you the answer before 10, unless you can come up with it. The question today is, the average person eats 36 of these every year. What are these? Let's go to the phones. Phil is going to start us off. Good morning, Phil.
Morning, Mike. Sorry, it's Bill, though.
Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. I promise you my eyes are okay. My eyes are as good as my ears right now. It says Phil on my screen. Bill, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Bill. How are you?
Good. I'm going to say hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Excellent guess. Not the answer we're looking for, but thanks for playing along.
Okay, thanks very much.
All right, Bill, enjoy your day. Now, that's, 36, so that's 3 a month, says the genius math guy. Would I eat more than 3 hamburgers a month? Because I do eat a lot of hamburgers. I love me some hamburgers, but that's not the answer. Brandon is with us. Brandon, are you a first-time caller to this show?
I am a first-time caller.
Yeah! Yes! Yes!
I love me some first-time callers. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
All right. Do you know the answer to our not $1 million question? The average person eats 36 of these every year.
I'm guessing some spooky, creepy crawlies, maybe some spiders.
Oh, you know what? Brandon, you and I must have great minds because we thought alike. That was my guess too, but it's not the answer.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Great to hear from a first-time caller today. It's not hamburgers. It's not spiders. George, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mike. All right. I'm going to guess bananas.
Bananas. That's only 36. I might eat a banana a day. Like, I might be 300 bananas a year.
Oh, my. I would do about 36 a year because I don't want to go too crazy on them.
Great guess, George. Not the answer we're looking for, bud. All right. Appreciate you trying, though. This is the thing. What I've fallen in love with is banana and peanut butter. You see? I'm like a kid all over again. Remember the banana and peanut butter sandwiches we used to make? Yeah. So oftentimes I'll come home from work, and to tide me over between, whatever I snack on at work and dinner, banana, peanut butter, almost every day. I'm definitely more than 36 bananas a year. But, when you're a monkey... let's go to Deb next for our not $1 million question. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Mike.
Do you think you know the answer? What do we eat on average 36 times a year?
I'm going to guess grilled cheese sandwiches.
You're the second person. I got a text message that guessed the same thing. Not the answer, but a very good. Why? What made you think of grilled cheese?
Well, I was thinking a sandwich in general, and I was thinking grilled cheese is pretty popular, so I just narrowed it down.
Nice. I like it. Not the right answer, but I like the process of elimination. Thanks, thanks, Deb.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. It was actually my 5th grade teacher. Do you know how much of a kick I get out of my 5th grade teacher listening to this show? Like, that's just one of the coolest things to me. And she also guessed grilled cheese sandwiches, but that's not the answer. And what I said to my 5th grade teacher is, I had one of those last night. Enjoyed me a grilled cheese sandwich. But it's not the answer that we're looking for in our not $1 million question. The not $1 million question today is, the average person eats 36 of these every year. It's not bananas. It's not spiders. It's not hamburgers. It's not grilled cheese sandwiches. Jeremy is on the phone with us. Jeremy, are you also a first-time caller to this show?
I am.
Yes!
Welcome aboard, Jeremy. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
What's the answer, do you think?
I'm going with chocolate bars.
Oh, chocolate bar. See, I will say this. If we're playing the warm and cold game, you're getting warmer. And I wish I only ate 36 a year, pal. Man, oh man, I crush me some chocolate. Not the answer we're looking for, but a good guess. Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a great day. I really do. Like, it's no joke. I guarantee you I eat way more than 36 chocolate bars a year. I'm sure that's not good for me, but, oh, I love me chocolate. You're in the neighborhood now. Let's see if we can narrow it down. Francis, good morning.
This was a wild one. I'm not average neither. How about apples?
Apples. You don't eat 36. An apple a day, Francis, keeps the doctor away, doesn't it?
Well, right now I'm eating 2 apples a day. So like I said, I'm not average.
Not the answer I'm looking for, sir, but thanks for calling.
God bless.
God bless, my friend. Good to hear from you today. Rob, let's try your guess next. On average, we eat 36 of these every year.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Also not the answer we're looking for, Rob, but good guess.
Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. We're going to get one more in before the news break, I think. John, are you another first-time caller to this show?
I am.
Yes!
Welcome aboard, Johnny. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. So I was going to go opposite from food, but now you got me thinking. So I'm going to say s'mores.
Oh, that's a really good guess. And again, you're like I thought we were in the neighborhood before. You're on the same street now, but you're not quite there, John.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good to hear from you. Welcome to the show. Don't ever be shy about being a first-time caller. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to do this because this says another first-time caller. Joy, are you really calling me for the first time?
Yes.
Yes!
Joy, thank you so much. Do you know what we eat on average 36 times every year?
I think it's a takeout meal.
A takeout meal?
Yeah.
Oh, very good guess. Not the answer we're looking for, but thanks for calling in.
It's okay. I Googled it. It said that this is the answer.
Great to hear from you. Thank you, Joy.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're getting so close, but we're not quite there. S'mores not only had us in the neighborhood, but put us on the right street. I'll get you the answer before 10, and we'll take more guesses after 9:45, okay? But business to take care of here. The 570 News Center is waiting to give you an update. And then let's talk about scary movies, but not what you watch, what you hear. That's coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
When my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast.
I promise you this, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly, and I don't know in which order the song requests are coming on All Request Friday. I promise you that I do not. That is up to the person on the other side of the glass. Sometimes it's Devin, usually it's Jen. It's Jen today, but just after 9:15 when we played the first of your requests on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition, and we played the Addams Family for Mark, and I said, I mean, how much longer before we hear? At some point today, we will hear Bobby Boris Pickett and the Monster Mash. And look at that, it was the next song. I promise I didn't know that, but Jim and Norma wanted to hear it, and that's what happens on All Request Friday. You make your request, we play it. Today, it is your favorite Halloween songs or Halloween-themed songs. You always get creative. I love it. And I never know which song is going to be played next. Given that it is the day that it is, Halloween, we are going to spend a little bit of time today talking about the spookier side of things, including right this moment when we talk about those spooky movies that we know and love. But as much as we like watching them, I wonder how much we pay attention to the sounds we are hearing while we are watching them, not the sounds in the house. Because if you're doing the spooky movie right, you've got everything dark, everything quiet, and you're just fully engrossed in that film. But what about the sound in that film? Besides what you're seeing, it's what you're hearing. James DeVille is a professor of music at Carleton University and joins us to talk about this. And James, to that end, not only what we're seeing, but what we're hearing. Is a film's score underappreciated, perhaps, based on its impact on us as a viewer?
Oh, I would say so. In fact, there's one music theorist who argues that music is the ultimate hidden persuader, meaning that it does its work but doesn't draw attention to itself. So it's almost artificial for me to draw attention to the score because you're not supposed to notice it, both the score and the sound effects that the sound designer has crafted.
And when it comes to the score, on a day like today, we'll probably remember that score to our favorite horror film. I'm a big fan of the Halloween franchise, so I can hear that piano going. I think we all recognize the bottom from Jaws, etc.
Yeah.
But you talk, James, about those sound effects and the other ways that sound editors are incorporating not even just music, but sounds into the movie itself. And that has such an impact on our reaction to what we're seeing.
Yes, very much so. And those are more obvious than the music, although in many cases, the sounds, as I say in the article, such as cicadas or crickets or those kinds of normalizing sounds are often used for the purpose of getting the audience into a state of complacency, not expecting the jump scare. So part of the art of doing it these days is to be novel in how you create the effect of the jump scare, the silence, but not total silence leading up to the moment then when you get the badoom,
How does silence shape our response to a film? How is silence being incorporated, particularly in horror films?
Well, I should say that there is no such thing as absolute silence. And I don't know if you remember the tagline from Alien, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yes, indeed.
There's always some kind of sound mixed in. But there's something, I think, in our DNA that tells us that when we don't hear something, that our senses, perk up, and that we almost expect something to happen, especially if we're in the walking or in the forest or whatever. May go back as far as our early days when we were more attentive to the animal world around us and always waiting for the predator to be lying in wait, that kind of thing.
For a film that I think, James, many will be familiar with, let's talk about Psycho and that famous shower scene. How does the soundtrack play into that scene? Like when I think about it, I think about that curtain being peeled back and then watching the knife come through the air. But the soundtrack is obviously a key part of that as well. How does it play into that scene?
Yeah, interesting question, because even with my students, I find that they think that the actual sound is an electronic one that comes in as the knife is plunging. Actually, Bernard Herrmann scored it with high strings. Those shrieks, though, have become iconic, even as the half step for Jaws has. And, those quick sounds are supposed to represent then the striking of the knife. So we equate the knife with that. But the one thing people don't listen for is the sound of the water in the shower. That helps us to normalize the situation and to perhaps be lulled into a sense of complacency so that we really don't expect those shrieks to come in. But it is orchestrated. It's not a sound effect.
When you are watching a film, how much are you able to watch and how much do you just find yourself listening?
Excellent question. One of the sound theorists, Michel Chion, invented the term audio viewing, that we're never just using our eyes, but we're also listening. And for me, I'm pretty much attuned to that. I've kind of been spoiled, though, even as I had said that, music is the ultimate hidden persuader. We're not supposed to hear necessarily the music. And one film scorer said the best film music is that one that you don't notice, so that it blends into the background. Well, as a professional, I do pay attention to the soundtrack and also sound effects and the brilliance and craft behind blending them into a way that they're not so noticeable.
Are there films particularly that stand out to you as having done this very well?
Well, certainly I'd have to mention the Quiet Place franchise. Although, the Blair Witch Project is one of the first to really focus not on music but on sound and to get us to listen to what's happening, in the ambience around the investigation. But certainly A Quiet Place, I think, does it masterfully.
I came to A Quiet Place late. I found the franchise just doing one of those, mindless scrolls on my streaming services and oh, this sounds pretty interesting. And I couldn't agree more. It was so well done. And I thought the Bird Box also, I found that one incredibly unsettling.
Yes, that's right. And it's oftentimes in those situations that it's most effective, that it can be really, and it can be just a simple two-note motive like John Williams and that half step in Jaws that's become iconic, really. That movie also, I think, with the rebirth of Hollywood, the golden age of Hollywood, that he used that theme in ways you were faked out. When you heard that theme, you thought that it really was a shark. Turns out it's an overturned surfboard,
Absolutely. Can someone in your line of work, your field of study, James, still get taken in by the jump scare? Is it possible to jump scare the great Professor James DeVille?
Well, first of all, I'll have to say that if I'm at home, I often screen movies, and especially horror, with the sound down, if not off. Just to protect myself from that. But yes, I mean, Weapons is a good example of that. Although I have to admit, when I was going through it for a course, I counted over 10 jump scares, but I'd say half of them were unexpected, So it is possible, yes, indeed.
I really appreciate you making time for our show today, sir. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, and happy Halloween to you.
And to you as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
James DeVille is a professor of music at Carleton University. Joins us this morning to talk about those horror movies that we enjoy so much, but how the sound in those movies is really what's triggering our fear response. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't love the jump scare. I think it's a little bit of a cheap tactic, because it's kind of easy, isn't it? You just make something quiet for a while and all of a sudden, bam, something jumps out of somewhere and scares the bejeepers out of you. I much prefer those those films that build suspense, right? Just what's going on creates all those feelings of uneasiness within us. And I think of that when James talks about the sound of the water running in the shower in Psycho after the famous shower scene stabbing, right? Because that normalizes the whole thing. How many of us can relate to the sound of the water in a shower? That's a technique that I quite enjoy. And if you think about that scene, right, we know as the viewer, because we can see that shadowy figure. Don't tell me this is a spoiler alert for Psycho from 60 plus years ago, okay? Stop it. But we can see that shadowy figure enter the bathroom through the blur of the shower curtain, right? Then the curtain gets peeled back, and we all know what happens from there. But the sound of that water, I never had thought about it until James mentioned it this morning, and here we are as we celebrate Halloween, thinking about and maybe even watching one of our favorite scary movies. Michael Myers has been my guy since day one. Listen, if you grew up in my era, I'm born in 71, and then going through the late 70s and into the early to mid 80s. I mean, it seems to me like those slasher flicks were having their moment, weren't they? And I really fell in love with the Halloween franchise and Michael Myers. Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th was fine. Didn't mind it. Freddy Krueger, of course, like those were the three big guys back then. But to this day, and again, you want to talk about sound. How about it? It still sends a little shiver down my spine. The Exorcist will remain the scariest movie I have ever seen, and I didn't even see it until I was in college. So I'm a young man by this point, and there was a re-release on the big screen. So a couple of buddies of mine and I went to see it, and I had not seen it before, and just watching it on the big screen, they had me from the very beginning, opening, with a church service and the words being spoken that I knew so well from, Saturday evenings. We were Saturday night churchgoers, but, in church and just hearing all of this. But the spider walk is still, like, everybody talks about Linda Blair's head twisting around and all of this stuff. And there was some awful stuff. But for me, it was the spider walk. And what just sent that shiver down my spine when I think back on it is you hear that sound, right? You hear that sound of the pitter-patter on the floor upstairs before down the stairs come. Oh, I can't even. Anyway, but that sound, right, of the pitter-patter on the floor upstairs definitely had an impact on what became a very scary scene, at least for me. Kevin is on the phone with us this morning. Good morning, Kevin.
Hi, good morning, Mike. Good morning, Mike. Go Rangers, go today.
Go Rangers, go. Go Jays, go. Go trick-or-treating, go. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to confess something here.
Okay.
I'm 56. At age 15 or 16, I watched Exorcist. And it was a crazy night, it was raining outside. The whole atmosphere was kind of crazy. And let me tell you something. Since that age, up until today, which was last week, I was flipping the channel and one of the U.S. channels was showing it. I can't watch even like 2 minutes of it anymore. I swear to God, Mike, it had made such an emotional and a spiritual impact on me. As a 56-year-old man, I confess, I can't watch it. It bothers me. It's like unbelievable. I mean, other scary movies, people have tradition watching it every Halloween with their family. No. This is something that's going to affect you for life, and it has. So that was my confession of today.
Kevin, I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. Listen, I'm not far off. Like, I've watched it since. Kevin's right. You know this. The Exorcist is such a creepy flick. Brian Allison, our good friend and musicologist, of course you'd call when we're talking about the sounds and the soundtracks in movies.
My spidey sense is tingling. I couldn't resist. I think it's a great conversation because, you and I in our discussions, we talk so much about, how music, we have such a positive response to it, and it makes us happy, and it makes us feel good feelings. But then, the psychology of auditory responses, it also goes the other way. Music and sounds can make us as frightened as music and sounds could make us happy at the same time. So it's such a cool conversation. I love the story of John Williams when he first played his idea for the Jaws theme to Steven Spielberg. He sat down at a piano and just played two notes, dum, 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 dum. And Steven Spielberg's like, and? he's like, no, that's going to be the theme to your movie. And Steven's like, I don't think that's going to work. We can't have a two-note sequence for an entire film. And I think John Williams proved him otherwise.
I think he absolutely did. That's a great point.
The Exorcist, by the way, I'm with you. I've seen probably every horror movie under the sun. My daughter is a horror movie freak, and I have yet to find too many horror movies that gave me that same initial scare that The Exorcist gave me. Even now, watching it as an adult, it still makes my, the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's just a truly frightening film, and another great score to that movie as well by Oldfield.
Yeah, great stuff. Brian, always good to hear from you. Thanks for being a part of the show today.
All right, you have a great weekend, and let's go Jays and Rangers.
You got it, buddy. Thanks a lot. Brian Allison is a musicologist. He joins us Monday mornings at 11, by the way, for a look at this week in music history. So, of course, he'd weigh in. Fun conversation this morning with James DeVille, professor of music at Carleton University. We underappreciate the sounds and the music in those movies that scare us. We'll take a break. When we come back, if you want to take another stab at our not $1 million question today, by all means, give me a call. On average, we eat 36 of these every year. What are these? The answer is coming up, and more of your guesses if you dare. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Crawling up my wall, black and hairy, very small. Now he's up above my head, hanging by a little thread.
Oh, our buddy Preston Paul, Farwell's Force member, number 45, wanted to hear a little bit of Boris the Spider by The Who on this All Request Friday, Halloween edition. There you go, Preston Paul. On Fridays, we also play the not $1 million question. Today, that question is, on average, we eat 36 of these every year. What are these? Bill has a guess. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Mike. I think the only thing left is marshmallows.
I feel like I misdirected you when I said that s'mores got us really close, because I have so many guesses of marshmallows. Folks that, let me see, Sarita, Jeremy, Chris, Jason, all called in. It's not marshmallows, but good guess.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. So here's, I felt like, you be the judge. If I misdirected you, I apologize. When we got into candy bars, I'm like, okay, you're in the neighborhood. And then s'mores, and I'm like, you're on the same street. And so many people guessed marshmallows after that. Jonathan guessed wagon wheels. Oh, I love me a wagon wheel. The answer to our not $1 million question today, on average, we eat 36 of these every year. Slices of cake. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not celebrating that many birthdays. I like cake, though. Like, I really like cake. Just give me a straight-up chocolate cake. Cake, slices of cake. On average, we eat 36 every year. That's the answer to your not $1 million question today on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go? Say it, spit it out. What What is it exactly you're paying? Is the amount cleaning you out? Am I satisfactory? Today I'm thinking about the things that are deadly. The way I'm drinking you down, like I wanna drown, like I wanna end me.
Did you know that Duran Duran released an album on Halloween last year? I didn't know that until Donna requested a song from Duran Duran's Halloween album, Danse Macabre, that was released last Halloween. That's a cover of the Billie Eilish tune, Bury a Friend. And thanks to Donna for the request on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition. It wouldn't be a Halloween show without a further investigation into what I believe to be the best haunted house story in our community. If you didn't know, the well-known Homer Watson House and Gallery is haunted. I don't want to discourage you from going there. Maybe this would encourage you to go there, but it's got a very interesting history. Kathy Masterson is the director and curator of the Homer Watson Gallery and joins the show this morning. Kathy, thank you so much for the time. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. What a lovely day.
It is indeed a lovely day. I wonder if it's particularly lovely at the Homer Watson House and Gallery today. Do you do anything differently in light of Phoebe's ghost, Kathy?
Well, we do celebrate October, but we choose to look at the entire month of October. So it's our spirit season. We start out on the first of the month with spirit markets. We have seances, specific art programming. We have children's programming. And last night we ended with a family mischief night where families in our neighborhood came together to do smart activities and then did a little traditional march around the block, playing music and banging drums and scaring away all of our neighborhood spirits. So lots has been happening here over the past month.
I love to hear it. It's a great way to lean into this tremendous history at Homer Watson House. Can you share with us, Kathy, the story? And because as I understand it, I think Phoebe's relatively friendly as a spirit roaming your hallways.
She is friendly. She's very friendly. For those of you that don't know, Homer Watson is recognized as Canada's first international artist. So he lived here in the little village of Doon back in the 1850s and 60s. Small, just a small little blip in the Ontario landscape. He came from a milling family. His father died. He had to leave school at 7 years of age to go into milling to help support his family. Then his brother died in a milling accident. And at that point, the family left the mill. So Homer became a self-taught artist, again, living here rurally. And of course, as local people do, they paint what they can see. So he painted Canadian rocks and trees in our landscape. And through his friendships with people like Oscar Wilde, he was able to elevate his art up onto the international stage to the point where he had two pieces that are now hanging in Windsor Castle. And through this whole process of him learning how to paint and becoming a successful artist, his wife Roxa was very much there supporting him and basically taking over sort of the administrative side of his career. And she died. She had a heart condition, so she passed away at a younger age. And he went into a little bit of a depression at that time. And at one point in time, he thought he saw a ghost of Roxa. And she said, basically, get over it, get going, focus on your art, everything's fine. And his sister Phoebe came into the house at that point as well. And Phoebe's also a very good artist in her own right. And she took over sort of all the tasks that Roxa did according to his career. She promoted him, packaged things up, sent them away, and took over the running of the house too. And both she and Homer were very much spiritualists. They were very interested in life after death, what happens to your spirit. So they became very interested in the occult, in tarot card readings, seances, Ouija boards. And of course, they were also friends with Mackenzie King, who, of course, as Canadian Prime Minister from Kitchener, he also was very much interested in the spiritual world. And so together they really sort of explored what that meant. And like I said, Phoebe took over the running of Homer's life, and she basically is still running our life here. So she turns off our lights. She closes doors. You hear her walking about. So she's a very friendly person.
Is Phoebe more active at this time of year, or would that be maybe me wishing she was? Are there any times that she is more active than others in your lives at Homer Watson House?
Good question. And sadly, I don't think she's more active now. I think we experience her more at night now because we're in the house more at night in October. But generally, Phoebe is around. She lives here, so daytime is not uncommon. Usually, if you're the only one in the building, is when you sort of notice it because otherwise you assume somebody else is walking upstairs or somebody in the basement turned off the lights. But I would say that she's pretty frequent. I would even go as far as to say a weekly occurrence. Somebody has a Phoebe moment. During this year's Spirit Seasons, we did have a seance here, and one of the ghosts that the medium was able to connect with was Phoebe. And one of the guests that were participating asked if Phoebe was playing around with the alarms on our building. And she laughed and said she can't actually turn things on and off, but she can interfere with electricity. And so she sort of left that to our imagination then as to what else she might be playing with.
You mentioned those lights that go on and off, the doors that close, the footsteps that you hear. Has Phoebe ever been seen in and around the property?
Yes, not by me. I haven't seen her, but some of the other and when it's not really seeing a full Phoebe, it's seeing skirts move. And there is one spot in particular on our main floor that's sort of between two gallery doors and the staircase going upstairs. And she's sort of, if she's going to be seen, that's her spot.
Does it concern you at all, Kathy, or is this something that you just embrace as part of your role?
Yeah, no, we love Phoebe. We love the story of her and the role that she played here in the house, but in our community as well. She was also an art teacher. She was very well known. She was active in the local environmental group. She was active in our church. So she has all these very positive characteristics. So she's never been somebody that we've ever been afraid of or anybody's ever been spooked of. It's just sort of Phoebe's here. She lives here. Be nice to Phoebe.
And in return, Phoebe is nice to the inhabitants.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I loved that background, Kathy, on Homer Watson, because there were elements of that I was even still unaware of. And I think for so many people today, truly, Homer Watson is that place with the really big roundabout at the intersection of Ottawa Street, right? So it's really interesting because clearly this artist was very significant in his day.
Absolutely, he really was. So most large European collections have a Homer in it somewhere. Most Canadian large collections have his work. So his work is, up at the National Archives. All of his papers and documents are at the National Archives, as are Phoebe's. He has work in the Greater Victoria Art Gallery, right across out to the east in the Nova Scotia Art Gallery. So really coast to coast. And it's from an art historian point of view, it's really important to understand his point in time. Because looking at his art now, it might not be something that everybody appreciates. But when you look at his skies and his rocks and his trees, you can see how it moves from him to the group of seven, and for how it moves from the group of seven onto the next wave, till you now have, people like E. Robert Ross and Hamilton, who's still painting Canadian landscapes. And when you look at his work painted right now in 2025, and you can see how he treats skies and trees and rivers and waters, and you can see how this whole growth of art history that has moved through all of the work. And it's really interesting from a historical point of view.
It is amazing. And from right here in the village of Doon, which I might add, no disrespect intended, but it's got to be one of the creepier places to hang out at this time of year. Like Doon's, it's just so old, and it's great. I can hear the leaves rustling in my mind right now, Kathy.
I will give you that.
So,
Absolutely.
I suspect for anybody who may have missed the spirit season at Homer Watson House and Gallery this year, you'll be leaning into that again next year, and we encourage people to really get out and enjoy some of this rich history.
Absolutely. Come explore us.
We will for sure. Really appreciate you making time for the show. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Super. Take care.
Kathy Masterson is the director and curator of Homer Watson House and Gallery in the Doon area of Kitchener. What a great history lesson on the artist that was so significant beyond our borders. And yeah, Phoebe's spirit still hangs out, but she's like Casper, a friendly ghost. Watch for the spirit season to come back to Homer Watson House and Gallery next October. We're going to take a break. When we come back, you want really scary? How about the prices of Halloween candy this year and how much smaller those chocolates have gotten? We'll talk about why coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. That is by request from Randy today. And may I say, an excellent choice. A little bit of Dusty Springfield and Spooky on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition. It is the day that we give out candy to the little ones that come and knock on the door. And if you're like me, there's always enough candy for them and for you, because that's what being an adult is all about. I don't have to go knock on doors. I can just buy my own. But I don't know about you, and you know I am as cheap as the day is long. So this stuff occurs to me. Not only was the candy more expensive this year, but it was also smaller. I opened those little packets of M&Ms, and there are not as many M&Ms in the packet this year as there were last. What the heck is going on? Joanne MacArthur is the president of Nourish Food Marketing and joins us for a conversation. Joanne, good morning.
Happy Halloween, Mike.
Happy Halloween, Joanne. Although the grumpy old man and sweet tooth lover that I am, what happened to my candy, Joanne?
Yeah, a few things. It all started in West Africa, where there's been a lot of climate issues, and the cost of cocoa has gone up by 4x. So that is too much for a manufacturer to absorb in their price of goods. And so we've seen things getting smaller, shrinkflation. We've also seen fewer things in the box. And we've seen reformulation, right, to take out some cocoa.
This reformulation is something that's got me really curious because, as you say, price of cocoa up 4 times. Manufacturers can't absorb all of that without passing too much on to the consumer. So how are they reformulating?
Well, they're being quite clever. In some cases, they're taking out cocoa and adding other things to make it chocolatey, or they're just one of my favorite ones is Hershey. They came out with chocolate nuggets. And Hershey usually is all chocolate, but they've put a filling, a pumpkin spice latte filling. You know, everybody loves pumpkin spice.
Speak for yourself, Joanne.
Right? Okay, well, it's a trendy flavor.
I got you, 100%. Yeah.
And so it's clever, in my opinion, it's clever product innovation. So the consumer feels like they're getting something that's, new and innovative, but in actual fact, it's allowing Hershey to reduce the amount of cocoa that they're using in the product.
Yeah, no, I would agree. That is a very clever reimagination of the product, to be sure. But so since you bring up Hershey's, though, I love those Hershey's Kisses that just give me a solid piece of Hershey's chocolate. Big fan. So for somebody like me, Joanne, who has about as sweet a tooth as anyone, really does enjoy his candy, particularly his chocolate, is there any hope for me in the future, seeing these cocoa prices come back down and maybe things normalizing again, if you will?
This is the new normal, I'm afraid. I don't see it getting any better. You may find those Kisses a little less chocolatey going forward, but in terms of Halloween, I don't think a lot of the little trick-or-treaters are that upset. Like, they're not really chocolate forward to start with.
Right.
And I think, as things get smaller, my prediction is we will actually end up handing out more candy tonight on the doorsteps because, with those little things getting smaller, we may have given out 2 in the past, and that'll just look a little cheap. So we'll end up giving 3, maybe even 4 if we're feeling really pumped about the Blue Jays. So I think we will all end up, despite shrinkflation, and us handing out more candy and probably eating more ourselves because, as things get smaller, it becomes like more permissible just to have 1 or 2 as a little treat.
Joanne, you're so right. And that's the problem with those little mini chocolate bars because before you know it, you've consumed well over the amount of a full-sized chocolate bar. But I noticed this year because, as always, I prepare in advance and then I eat the candy and have to buy more. But I'm 1 biting these things. They're not even 2 bites anymore. They're so itty-bitty.
Exactly. Yeah. We call that a permissible indulgence because it's smaller. And, we think, well, that doesn't really count, right?
Absolutely.
There's no calories in that. It's so small.
It's right. I can walk those calories off going back and forth to the bowl.
Yeah, don't you wish?
Longer term, I guess even Halloween aside, Joanne, this has got to put pressure, these cocoa prices, on manufacturers. And as you've talked about, the reimagination and reformulation of these products is one thing. But just, you're still going to be able to buy a full-on, Cadbury Dairy Milk or Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar. But there's got to be pressure on the industry with these cocoa prices.
Oh, yeah. And prices are higher. Like those, not only are things getting smaller, they're going up. And they have to go up. It's just, the cost of goods. Yeah.
Great to get your perspective on the show today. Happy Halloween. I'm sorry for my pumpkin spice grumpiness. I just got to be me. I really appreciate you being here, Joanne.
My pleasure, Mike. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Jays,
go Jays, go. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Joanne MacArthur is the president of Nourish Food Marketing. It's true. It's not your imagination. That box of chocolate bars, if you will, the minis, not as many bars in there. We paid anywhere from $9.99 for the smaller box to $15.99 for the bigger box. And not only is there less chocolate, like less pieces in the box, but the pieces themselves are smaller. And what do you have to blame for that? The price of cocoa, which is up 4 times since last year. And climatologists are saying this is going to be part of a long-term trend given the impacts of climate change. So if you, like me, enjoy your chocolate, well, get ready to pay a little more for it as time moves on. All right, time is moving on quickly on the show this morning. My goodness gracious, we're almost at the time. We're going to hear from Kitchener Rangers head coach UC Ahokas. It's the coaches' show ahead of tonight's game versus the Sudbury Wolves. And something I noticed is trades in the Ontario Hockey League. To me, they seem to be happening sooner this year, and some big names have already been moving. So what about the Kitchener Rangers? Does this make them any more interested in getting active in the trade market sooner? Rangers general manager Mike McKenzie will join us before 11 o'clock as well, and he's got an interesting tidbit or two to share to that end. That's coming up in the next 30 minutes here on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is Friday. It is game day. The Sudbury Wolves in town to take on your Kitchener Rangers tonight. And as we do every Friday morning, ahead of game night at the Memorial Auditorium, we have a conversation with Rangers head coach UC Ahokas. This is the Coach's Show. Good morning, Coach.
Oh, good morning.
Before we talk about hockey, UC, it's Halloween, so I got to know, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Well, I would say I'm not a candy guy, but I would say something sour cream, something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't be a candy guy. You're a freak. You go run 5K before every game. You're always exercising. I'm going to teach you about candy, UC. That's going to be my job for the rest of this year.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see in our bus trips.
Okay.
When we can find out.
I'll bring you some stuff. You watch. Okay, one more on Halloween. If who on the team, you can pick a player or a coach, would be the most scared watching a scary movie?
I would say Luke Ellenis.
All right, Ellenis it is. We'll keep that one in mind. Okay, let's talk some hockey. Your team has won 5 of 7 points in 6 of 7 games. What is it that's got the team moving in the right direction?
I think we're managing pucks better. We're starting to understand where to make plays and when you have to chip it in, or we're not trying too hard plays. We're not forcing plays, and then we've been defending well.
You're in a stretch right now of 7 of 9 games on home ice. How important is it?
Yoshinobu Yamamoto was lights out back in game.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No.
How important is it to make the most of these home games?
Oh, of course. We want to play good always at home, so it's important to get points. But same. These points are as important what we get in March. So it's just important to keep going and getting better. And it's nice to be at home this kind of a stretch. So for sure, and hopefully we do well.
When you talk about the team, managing pucks well, knowing when to chip, it sounds like that's a lot about understanding the system, that mental part of the game, so they know what to do when they have the puck. Is that a sign of, the systems that you're implementing, the players are really buying in, learning how to play that way?
Oh, yeah, and then just the maturity, like even those systems, but understanding like individual tactics, kind of when to play, when to make a play and when you have to leave, and understanding what's the situation. Is it even man, or is it odd man, or then are you attacking as 1 against 3? So that's where you have to just all in all understanding the game. And that's, I think, the important part for our players to kind of manage and get like learning from there. You learn the winning habits, and winning teams usually manage pucks well.
You're still missing some key players from your lineup, Luke Ellenis, Andrew Vermeulen, Carson Campbell. Does it surprise you at all that the team is able to put a run like this together even without those guys?
Well, we're getting better, of course. They're a huge part of our team, and we want to get them back soon. But then again, everybody has injuries, and then now it's been a good time for the guys to show up. But for sure, it'll change our team dramatically, or we'll be a lot older. You have to add 3 19-year-olds into your lineup, and it changes a lot. But I think the boys are buying in, and we've been playing better and better. Like, I didn't like the start of our year, like how we played, even though we got a couple wins, but now we're going in the right direction.
You've got the Sudbury Wolves in town tonight. They've won 2 of their past 3. What do you have to do to be successful against Sudbury?
Well, you have to take their offense away. They want to. Some of their top forwards, they can do really harm if you give them room and time. So you have to be smart on that. And then again, we have to do our thing. We have to be ready to work, and when our team's working and defending well and managing pucks, usually we do well, and that's the biggest thing for us to play our our game well. But then again, we know their top line. There's some good players there, and we have to be really dialed in our defensive play.
You see, you're lucky you have all these home games for the next little while. So you do some extra jogging, and I'm bringing candy for the next road trip.
No, okay. That'll be great.
Thanks, UC. We'll see you at the rink tonight.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. UC Ahokas is the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers. I use the word freak lovingly and out of admiration. In fact, this entire coaching staff is a bunch of freaks when it comes to how well they take care of themselves. And then you got the broadcast crew. Nonetheless, had to go down a little bit of the Halloween path on the coaches' show today because it is the Halloween game at the Memorial Auditorium tonight. In fact, hey, kids, I know you're probably excited to put on a costume and go out trick-or-treating. But depending on how you schedule your evening, I mean, you get out around 5:30, you still get over to the game. And the team is offering the opportunity after the game to collect a little candy from the dressing room and get a tour at the Memorial Auditorium tonight, which is a pretty cool treat, if I do say so myself. Rangers and Wolves, as always, this being your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. You'll hear all of the action tonight. We'll get things started with the Harris Law pregame show at 6:30. The puck drops just after 7. We'll have the entire first period done before the Blue Jays game starts. And when the Blue Jays game starts, Josh Piercy and I, on our Kitchener Rangers broadcast, will keep you up to date on that World Series score because, yes, Virginia, the Blue Jays could win the World Series tonight. So we'll make sure you're getting all the Rangers action versus Sudbury. We'll make sure you're getting all the score updates from Rogers Centre in Toronto. And we'll have ourselves a good old sports hootenanny. I can't believe I just used hootenanny. I don't know where that came from, but here we are at the Memorial Auditorium tonight. Josh Piercy and I on the air at 6:30 with your Harris Law pregame show, Kitchener Rangers hockey, right here on your home for Rangers hockey. We've got the Sudbury Wolves starting at 7 with the puck drop. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we do the coaches show every Friday morning at this time. And I just been noticing a little bit, it seems to me anyway, that the deals are starting to happen early in the OHL this year. The London Knights acquire Brady Wasselin from the Niagara Ice Dogs. The Brantford Bulldogs, a team that still has not lost in regulation this season. Hey, Telephone City, are you tuning into the Farwell show today? You got yourselves a pretty good hockey team, and it just got better as Brantford acquired Zachary Sandu and Ben Danford, a Maple Leafs prospect from the Oshawa Generals. So a good team like Brantford adds solid pieces to get even better. And just today, the Owen Sound Attack acquiring Wesley Royston from the Erie Otters in exchange for Michael Deck. Trades are happening. It's all quiet on the Kitchener Rangers front, but I wonder, as these trades begin to happen, how does the general manager feel about that? Mike McKenzie, the general manager of the Kitchener Rangers, will join us to talk about the early start to the trading season and what's next for Oscar Hemming, a player that the Rangers thought would be in their lineup by now. That's coming up on the Mike Farwell Show this morning, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. That is Concrete Blonde and Bloodletting on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition. Nate Dogg, Farwell's Force official member number 8, made the request of Concrete Blonde today. We're going to stick in the hockey theme for a moment because a couple of big things happening around the Kitchener Rangers. Well, one happening around the league, and that is these rather big trades happening already, not even November, and some big names being swapped in the Ontario Hockey League. Also, a big name, Oscar Hemming, that the Kitchener Rangers thought would be on the ice with them by now and still is not. He's headed out to the BCHL to play with the Sherwood Park Crusaders. Mike McKenzie is the general manager of the Kitchener Rangers, joins us to talk about that. And let's start with Hemming, Mike. Given that the Sherwood Park Crusaders are coached by Brennan Menard, who used to be an associate coach with your team, is there a little bit of a comfort level having Oscar land there?
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime you're looking for a spot for someone like that you want to, have a trust level with the people or person that you're sending them to. And, there was a lot of teams that reached out when it first became apparent that this might be a road he has to go down. So, yeah, it gives us a little bit more trust, just the fact that we know who's running the operation there, and we know that he likes to play an offensive style of game and is going to use Oscar in those ways. And so that's the main thing. But, I mean, there was plenty of options, and I'm sure there's plenty of other good options. It's just we're familiar with that one, so it made sense.
Obviously, the good news here is that Oscar gets to play and work on that development. Does this close the door, Mike, for Oscar playing for the Kitchener Rangers at any point this season, or does that work continue in the background, and could he end up here?
No, it doesn't close the door, and in fact, there is an outside chance still. We've got a couple loose ends and calls here in the upcoming day or two that will really determine what happens next. So I think there's definitely a chance that he is with us at some point, but there's also definitely a chance that he's not. That's the best way to put it, unfortunately. So I wouldn't be betting on either side. It's a lot of it's very much up in the air and unknown at this point. So we're just kind of rolling with the punches. In the next day or two, we should hopefully have some more information and kind of see where things take us.
You're not new to this game by any stretch. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yes and no. I've seen things that have happened where, there's contract disputes or player holdouts. And it happens more in the NHL and professional hockey, obviously, with their contracts, the amount of money being made and things like that. So in one sense, yes, it's part of sport. If someone wants to do something and there's reasons they can't do it, it gets held up or players sit out or things like that. The part I haven't seen, quite frankly, is how it's been handled by certain parties involved. And I'll use the word unethical, how unethical it's become. And that's all I'm going to really get into at this point. Maybe one day if I write a book, I can share all the details. But it's been definitely an interesting experience to see how certain organizations operate. But that's where we're at. A lot of it is out of the Kitchener Rangers' control, unfortunately. But we'll just keep, plugging along here and see what happens.
One of the other things I wanted to touch base with you on, Mike, is I don't know if other general managers in the OHL are stealing a page from your playbook or not, but you were always a guy that liked to make deals early, even before the season. You were known to make deals during the off seasons, that you had a player that you acquired on the ice with you for the full season ahead instead of waiting for that trade deadline in January. And it seems to me that teams are acting faster this year. Maybe I just have a short memory, but London and Niagara getting together on a swap of some pretty big names. And then, of course, the Brantford Bulldogs, already a strong team, making themselves stronger with that trade with Oshawa. Is it just me, or is this happening earlier this year?
Yeah, it seems so. I think there's always a couple it might be a tad earlier, but I feel like there's always a couple in the November window there before guys start going to World Junior camps and things like that. So, but yeah, it seems a little bit earlier, and there's obviously some big trades. So I think it's very situational, team by team, and you find where your team's at and what you need at that moment. And sometimes it does make sense to move forward with something a little bit earlier, and other times it pays off to be a little bit more patient. So I'm obviously not involved in those conversations of other teams and the trades that they make, but all those teams feel like that's a fit for them to do something now. And we're in a little bit of a more unique or different situation, I would say, right now, just with this Memorial Cup bid floating in the backdrop. So we will likely try to wait and see what happens with that and just get all the information before we do anything or look to do anything. But that being said, I'm always open to making a move if it makes our team better. So we'll kind of see how the next few weeks unfold with all that happening.
I wondered about that piece as well, Mike, because you've got a team right now that's sitting on top of its division early in the season, and you've got that Memorial Cup bid that you're hoping to win kind of in the background. When you see other teams start to make moves that are significant, which will make them more difficult opponents for your team moving forward, you expected to have a guy like Oscar Hemming in your lineup, for example. Does this change the calculus in any way for you as a general manager in Kitchener as to how you're going to manage your roster in the months and season ahead?
Yeah, I think everything changes how you think based on, the players you have available to you, how your team's doing, things like that. You're kind of constantly assessing yourself and assessing your team to see kind of where you're at. But I think right now we're just operating with not a full amount of information. And what I mean by that is, one, we don't know what's happening next year with the Memorial Cup. Two, we've had a bunch of guys out injured. So if Vermeulen, Campbell, Ellenis, if you want to throw Oscar into that mix, that's four pretty key players that we haven't got to see how our team looks with some of those guys back in the lineup. So I'd like to get some of those guys back and get them into the mix and kind of see how our team looks with a full complement of players. I like the fact that we've managed to, stay afloat without some of those key guys. It bodes well for our team and the fact that we have some depth and we can, get through stretches without some key players and still be okay. So I'd like to see how all those things kind of unfold before we decide to go down a certain path. So some of those guys will be back in the next couple of weeks, which is nice. And then obviously the Memorial Cup stuff should happen at the middle to end of November. So we should have some more clarity within the next month, I would think.
Maybe it's just the post-game show that keeps me so closely connected to fans, but I know how anxious they are and how much they love this team. Is it difficult to be patient when you see these other things happening around the league, Mike?
Yes and no. Sometimes you think, oh, man, I wish I could have been, the team making that trade. And other times you're like, thank God we didn't make that trade. So it depends. It depends which trade it is and how you look at it, I guess. So, but, that's at the end of the day, that's my job everyone likes to play armchair GM or whatever you want to call it. And sometimes it's not as easy as people think to make trades and just, move out draft picks and trade for this guy and that guy. And we're limited to a certain amount of cards we have. We're limited to what other teams are willing to give up. It sounds great to want to trade for a player, but if he's not available, then you can't really do that. So I understand it's fun to speculate and it's fun to see the gossip and stuff, but it's also a little dangerous as well with reports. These guys are teenage kids at the end of the day, and with all the social media now, it's really hard to see. I understand that people are interested, and I love that the fans are interested in that because it does make it fun, but there's definitely a line of false information. I think we saw some stuff yesterday that didn't end up being true, and I don't know. That stuff's kind of unfortunate, I think, that it's happening. It just muddies the waters for the teams. It muddies the waters for the kids. It's never good. So in one sense, it's great to follow, and it's cool, and I love the support. But in another sense, we got to be a little careful, too, sometimes with that stuff.
Agree completely on that end. As always, Mike, appreciate you being accessible to us and making the time. Thanks for joining the show today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mike.
Mike McKenzie, General Manager of the Kitchener Rangers, rounding out 30 minutes of a focus on Rangers hockey. And maybe Rangers fans will get a treat in the next day or two, something developing in the Oscar Hemming saga. I hope that development has him on the ice for us at the Memorial Auditorium. We shall see. An update from the 570 News Center, and then Our Friday Four Roundtable discusses the week's big stories coming up on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fooks. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein. Werewolves of London.
A little bit of Warren Zevon for you. Werewolves of London on your All Request Friday. Halloween Songs edition, both Ron and Sean. Too bad Dawn and, okay, that's all I got right now. Also didn't want, you don't have to have a rhyming name, but Ron and Sean wanted to hear Zevon Warren, Werewolves of London, on the show this morning. Everything, or something else we do every Friday is the Friday Four Roundtable, where we invite some guests in to discuss the week's big stories. And it looks like 2 out of the 3 got the memo. John Hendry, don't know what the hell's the matter with you this morning. Okay. So Carl Kiefer, John Hendry, Neil Anstedt with us this morning. Carl and Neil decked out in Blue Jays gear. John is not. But you know what, John? Neither am I. And I wanted to be. And maybe I'll just start with the 3 of you this way. My lucky Blue Jays shirt, the one I've been wearing for every game that they've won, somehow ended up in the wash. Are we in trouble tonight now?
That's not good.
Neil, I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't want to say it's not good, right? Carl?
Well, I got to agree with Neil. I don't think it's good.
John? Is yours in the wash too?
I stopped wearing my Blue Jay outfit when they started winning.
Okay, so you're helping. I'm hurting. I got it. John Hendry is a retired public school board trustee, now a professional speaker and author. Carl Kiefer, a former Region of Waterloo and City of Cambridge councillor, and Neil Anstedt, currently a municipal councillor in the beautiful municipality of North Perth for the town of Listowel. Great to have you all here. Great to see the Blue Jays support. I'm sorry for anything in advance that I have messed up, but let's dive into, and we'll get back to the Blue Jays before the end of this hour, I promise. Let's dive into our topics du jour. And John, I'll start with you. Doug Ford's TV ad. Was it a bad idea? Did he make a big mistake here and derail trade talks with the U.S.?
Well, I don't think so. I think his timing obviously was not very good. But in the grand scheme of things, you can't trust Trump anyway. So it really doesn't matter whether someone does this or not. But on the other hand, I think it's the message is resonating throughout the U.S. and I understand BC are going to start it over this weekend. So no, I don't think it derailed it at all.
So you think the ad has been very effective then?
I believe it has. It certainly got under the skin of Trump, and that's maybe a good thing.
Carl Kiefer, what say you on the TV ad?
Well, I have to give credit to Ford for him putting that forth, but at the same time, there's a protocol that needs to be addressed, and that's that when you're talking about national and international things, that's a federal government thing, not a provincial thing. And there might have been, to my way of thinking, there might have been a little more talk between Ford and the Prime Minister, Carney, with regards to that. And maybe there was, and we don't know about it. I don't know. But I thought the ad was effective in terms of letting the American people know that there could be costs or will be costs, on this tariff thing and not getting a deal with Canada. So on one way, yeah, it was I think it was a good and effective move. But on the other hand, you got to be, and I don't know of anybody that can get a deal with Ford. I mean, John's right about that. I mean, he's something different. And,
you mean with Trump?
Trump.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Ford.
That's okay. Yeah.
Sorry. Diplomacy doesn't seem to come up with Trump. He is a man of a different nature.
I like your point on federalism here and whether or not the premier kind of did an end around. And Neil, as a municipal councillor, I'm sure you feel interference from the province more than you would like. We talk about this a lot, stay in your lane. And maybe Doug Ford strayed from his lane as a provincial premier in this regard.
So it's interesting. Last time I was on your show, Mike, we talked about Doug Ford as well, and it was regarding speed cameras. And we're talking about Doug Ford here again. But just before I get into that, I would be in big trouble if I didn't wish my mom, Sherry, a happy 60th birthday today. So happy birthday to my mom. She's turning 60. So I would be in big trouble if I didn't get that out of the way.
I love it. Happy birthday.
Thanks. So talking about Mr. Ford. So I think it is, if you read the news reports, and however truthful they may be, apparently there was a deal that was close. We don't know that. We weren't in the negotiating table, obviously. But in terms of Doug Ford, I think, again, stay in your lane. He's got a lot more issues to worry about provincially than worrying about what's going on with Canada and the U.S. in terms of a trade deal. I don't know if anybody's been to a hospital lately. Hospital wait times, homelessness, municipal infrastructure, policing, all sorts of issues. He's got far more other things to worry about. Not saying that this isn't important, a trade deal with the United States, but Doug Ford has far more stuff going on that is pressing right now that he should be worrying about as opposed to a trade deal.
A bit of an aside, but since you brought it up, I kind of forgot at the beginning of the show today to celebrate, because that's what we do on Fridays. We keep things on the good news side of things. And hello, 2 weeks, baby, and those speed cameras are history, Councillor Anstett. I'm sure you haven't victimized the fine folks of Listowel with those goofy machines, have you?
We haven't. So it's interesting, and we talked about this, I think, briefly on the last time I was on, Mike, is that Wellington County, which neighbors Perth County, they had speed cameras, but Perth County Council, in their wisdom, said no right from the very beginning of the program. So we've never had speed cameras, but Wellington County has, and now, of course, they're going to be out as of November 14th. So that's the new date.
It was certainly welcome news to my ears when I heard the transportation minister mention that yesterday. But we all know how I feel about speed cameras. Neil Anstett, John Hendry, and Carl Kiefer with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We will move from provincial to federal because that budget is now just days away. Next Tuesday, the federal Liberal government will deliver its budget, and there have been signals from the Prime Minister that we're going to have to make sacrifices. The finance minister was just yesterday saying that we have to have a sustainable federal civil service, hinting pretty strongly at some job cuts there. What do you want to see in our federal budget? We'll talk about that with our Friday 4 Roundtable guests as we continue the Roundtable this morning on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Those are the Misfits, and the song is called Halloween. Good job by you, Andrew. You understood the assignment on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition. It's also something we do every week, our Friday 4 Roundtable. Guests join us to talk about the week's big stories. Carl Kiefer, Neil Anstett, John Hendry with us this morning. Carl, I'll start with you on this next one, and that is the looming federal budget. You've had plenty of experience working with municipal budgets and making these tough decisions, but my goodness gracious, I can't imagine the task that is before our federal Liberal government today. What are you, Carl, hoping to see in that budget when it's delivered next Tuesday?
Well, Mike, it's going to be an enormous task for sure. I think you mentioned sustainable, and that seems to be the buzzword that the federal government is going to have to utilize and do. But what I'd like to see is some better programs that something that could possibly, and I'm stretching here because I know it may not happen at all, is to lower taxes, and I'm not sure that'll happen because like you said, I went through many budgets and it just doesn't appear to be a reality. However, I'm hoping that there can be help for the middle class and affecting the lower socioeconomic demographics of the country. I mean, I think the federal government, I'd like to see the federal government be putting more money into municipalities for sure, because, they could use it for their housing and for their, you name it in municipal areas, they need money. And sometimes the provincial government makes sure they get it, and sometimes they don't. I'm hoping that there's a little more pressure to get federal monies to the municipalities. I think, I'd like to see, it's going to be difficult, when you cut jobs or you cut programs, people aren't happy, but we're in a time frame right now where, there's people are finding it tough to get jobs. The younger people are finding it tough to get jobs. I think I'd like to see a little more help, from a financial perspective. And if that's not doable, I don't know if it is, but I think they should push for that. And of course, the job force for the federal government seems to be quite high these days. And I'm sure, and I think Carney's made some, or the finance minister has made some remarks with regards to, jobs going to be lost, minimized, if you will. But yeah, there's a lot of things, Mike, that could happen, and I don't know if they will, because as you know, when the actual pedal comes down to the metal, it's a different ballgame.
It certainly is. And you talk about when those cuts happen, people aren't always happy, and that's understandable. But that speaks to the sacrifices that Prime Minister Carney has said we're going to have to brace for, I suspect anyway. Billions have been committed to defense spending. But if you're committing billions there, where are you finding the other billions to try to rein in that federal deficit is a big one. And your point on the federal civil service, when I heard the comments from the finance minister on Wednesday, I do support this. It's a large service that increased by about 40% in the last number of years. The other side of that coin, though, is we are talking about people and their jobs. And so if tens of thousands of people are losing jobs, that's a tough pill to swallow for those families as well. So anyway, Neil, I'll move it over to you for what you might like to see in the budget next week.
So, and Carl touched on a lot of points, and obviously with my experience as a municipal councillor, I've done a few terms as budget chair, and I can tell you it's certainly not a fun process. Everybody, when you first get elected to council, nobody tells you about the budget process and how much fun it's going to be. Let's say that.
Yeah, you use the term fun loosely there, I believe. Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the federal budget, so some things that stuck out to me right off the top, Mike, and you just touched on it, is the deficit, $70 billion. Projection, $70 billion. So if that was to be the case, one of the largest non-recessionary deficits in Canadian history, which is quite concerning to me. In terms of things I'd like to see, I think the biggest thing I'm looking for is affordability measures. Carl touched on it briefly, and you have as well, but people are struggling, and people are going to continue to struggle. And if the federal government doesn't put something in place to help with that, I don't know what this is going to look like, not only this year, but next year as well. Looking at the housing, this is not lost on anyone. There's issues with affordable housing all across the country. We certainly have it in North Perth. We need to find ways, and I know that they've talked about their plan about building better, faster, those sorts of things, but we need to come up with something, because more and more young people, they just simply can't afford housing. I know I can talk to countless people. They have money saved, it's not enough, and they don't qualify for a large enough mortgage, and that's not going to get any better. That's going to get worse if some measures aren't put in place. Obviously, talking about jobs, I know people are concerned. We look at the job losses in Stellantis and Cami. These are serious job losses, 1,500, 1,600 people at the different plants. And those workers need to work somewhere. They have skills, and they need to be retrained, and they need to put into other industries. Because if, like we talked about already about this deficit, is if the deficit does go to that level and we do get to a point where it is a recession, it's going to look a lot worse than it does right now.
All right, John, let me swing it over to you for what you would like to see in the federal budget next Tuesday.
As Neil and Carl have suggested, after years of budgets on the school board, the one thing I did learn was every department that is involved to ask for suggestions, and the same will go out to the public. They always have suggestions of how the budget can be reduced, but not in their area. And so that's always a problem. But to me, I would like to see that there seems to be some movement to cut the money that goes to seniors, to rein in the old age security. And I would have a lot of difficulty with that because there's a lot of most seniors, I would suspect, are on just their pensions, no fixed income whatsoever. And so to reduce their old age security or Canada pension benefits, I believe would be catastrophic for them. So I'm hoping that that is not touched. Maybe it'd be nice if it was increased, but the reality is there's no money to do that. So as long as it sort of holds its own, I would be happy. I think most of this deficit is directly caused by this pension to appease Trump. All the money we're spending on the military, and being a veteran myself, I understand that, and I agree with some of the expenditures we're going to be making, but that's part of the reason, probably a major reason, why that budget is so high with the military spending. So civil service, yeah, I think there is something that can be looked at to reduce it where it's possible. Excuse me. But one of the points I wanted to make, Mike, is if you look at the trade, international trade, even if you look at the replacement of our jets with the Air Force, if we were to bring in that Saab Gripen fighter, that would create thousands of jobs, and not just the aviation industry, but right across the board in virtually everything. And so perhaps those are some of the areas that we should be looking at in the budget to how do we bring trade, how do we increase trade that is going to bring it home to Canada, to produce in Canada. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Germany was talking about building something in Canada. So I think those are the areas that I'd be interested in watching.
Interesting on the CPP point, John, because I was thinking of that when Neil talked about affordability and young people saving but not having enough to get into that housing market. And then you've got people of my age who are in the housing market saying, well, don't mess with my equity. I still want my house to be worth something or worth as much as it is today, et cetera. And then so with your point on CPP, there's a lot of talk about that for those of us who are older versus keeping it affordable for those who are younger. So it's such a balancing act. Neil, if I can just swing it back to you for a moment here, because you are into budget season as a municipal councillor, and you alluded to the quote-unquote fun, but you're hearing directly from people, and you don't want to disappoint anybody. Can you put us in your shoes as a municipal councillor today trying to go through the budget process?
So it's hard. I mean, we had our initial budget meeting last week, and basically you get your wish list from staff on projects that they want to do and capital spending that they want to do, and it is a balancing act, like you guys talked about. I mean, you have people that want certain programs, they don't want those programs to be cut, but they also don't want to pay more in taxes. So where that right line is, and it's going to be difficult. It's difficult every year, but especially this year. And we were going to touch on it earlier too about the transfers from the province. I mean, those are going down. It's going to continue to go down, and we as a municipality only have so much funds available to us. We don't have many ways of raising revenue, as you guys all know. So it is a challenge, and I think that you just have to come up with a balancing act, and it's about protecting those programs that are the most helpful and most valuable to people, and looking for things that you can possibly cut if possible. It's tough all the way around.
There is not go ahead, Carl.
Mike, if I could just add to Neil's summarization there, and it was excellent. The one thing that sometimes people forget a lot is that the municipalities are forced by law to balance their budget. They can't run a deficit, and that's that makes things really difficult when you use the word balance. But I just thought I'd add that.
Great point.
Absolutely.
And there's not a doubt in my mind, not one doubt, shred of it, that we need a new fiscal arrangement in this province, in this country, really. I think about it in terms of nation-building projects. And if the Prime Minister is listening this morning, you can't build a nation on a shaky foundation. And if our municipalities are not whole, are not sound, good luck building the nation. That's my 2 cents on it as we head to the 570 News Center for an update. As you've probably heard this week, not every rendition of the national anthem has been received well by listeners, especially those during which the lyrics were changed. We'll talk about that with our roundtable guests as we continue on the Mike Farwell Show this morning, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Is Marilyn Manson, and this is Halloween by request on this All Request Friday Halloween Songs edition by both Heather and Corey. A little bit of Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas for you there. This is Halloween, Marilyn Manson. For Heather and Corey. Fridays also mean our Friday 4 roundtable here on the show. Our guests joining us to talk about the week's big stories. Neil Anstedt, who's a councillor in the municipality of North Perth, the town of Listowel to be exact. John Hendry, retired public school board trustee, professional speaker and author. And Carl Kiefer, a former Region of Waterloo councillor and also a councillor from the city of Cambridge, who I'm sure is happy to not be going through budget season right now, as we discussed in the previous segment. Neil, you get first crack at this one, and boy, people are fired up because a few actually. One performance that I think people just didn't generally like of an anthem before one of the World Series games by J.P. Sachs, and then Rufus Wainwright the other night changes the words to the national anthem. People use the internet for all kinds of things, mostly to sound off about things that upset them. But how do we feel here on the round table this morning, starting with you, Neil, when an anthem singer changes the words?
Yeah, so it's interesting, Mike. So I caught the first one. I knew the first person changed it. On Native Land was his first change that he made. And then with Rufus Wainwright, I caught the first change that he made, True Patriot, changed it to Only Us, that Only Us command. Now, interestingly enough, my sons who are in French immersion, they caught the second change that he made to the French lyrics, which it went right over my head. I had no idea. And my boys corrected me and said he changed it again. So, obviously he made 2 changes. And the first change was in line with, I believe it was Chantal Kreviazek, who made the comments, I made the change when during the Four Nations Cup earlier in the year. And I think obviously this is clear. This is about the 51st state and Canadian sentiment and all those sorts of things. I mean, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I think that the anthem is supposed to be a unifying anthem. It's been the same lyrics with the exception of the minor change to All of Us Command, which was made in, I believe it was 2018 or 2019. But yeah, I'm of the belief that the anthem is what it is. And I mean, that's somebody changing it. That's their own decision to do that. I mean, I think in terms of everything that's going on in terms of with the 51st state talk and all that sort of stuff, I mean, if anything, our anthem is what's unifying us and keeping us together. So when you start going and changing the lyrics, I don't really agree with that.
John, what do you think?
Well, having served in the forces, I'm sort of offended by it because, I mean, let's face it, there's people that have fought and died for this country over our national anthem and our flag. And I mean, those are important things. And to change it, to make some sort of political message, I think is terrible. I never have agreed with it and never will. Your national anthem is your national anthem, and your flag is your flag, and you honor it and you respect it. I don't think it's respectful to make changes on your own like that.
Carl, your thoughts?
Well, I'm old school, and I agree with John, and I agree with Neil on what they said. And being old school, of course, I don't think the national anthem should be changed at all. It should be, sung and sung proudly. It is our national anthem, after all, and it needs to be, advocated wherever we are in terms of, celebrating Canada. And so I'm not in favor of this changing the words of the, and I know musicians are talented, and they bring, another aspect to things. But when it comes to the national anthem, sorry, Mike, I'm 100% old school.
We are in unanimity around this round table then this morning, because I'm with all three of you on this. And to your point, Carl, about the talent that musicians bring to our lives generally, and we think back on the great history of protest music, etc. You want to do a recording of your own that gets us thinking, by all means, that's your art. And I don't think anybody here wants to impinge on anybody's freedom of speech or expression. That's not really the point. It's just in this particular instance, I think you're politicizing something or using a platform where you were asked to sing the anthem. If you want the lyrics changed, by all means, begin the process and let's start the conversation about changing the words. But until that has been agreed upon, your job was to go out there and sing the anthem as it exists today. Bit of a sidebar, but it's come up a bit, and I'll throw it around the table again, starting with you, Neil. That sidebar being, do we even continue doing anthems before sporting events? I personally like them. I get to hear them often, obviously, when I'm covering OHL games. But I don't know. How do you feel? Is it time to get rid of the anthem before sporting events?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a long-standing tradition, and as somebody that played junior hockey growing up, I mean, we always had the anthem played at every game, and it was certainly something that we looked forward to, right? And I think I'm again of the fact that it's an old school, and I think that when especially when you have other countries playing, if it's just in Canada, it's one anthem, but when you have both countries that are playing, you have both anthems. I think we still should. I think there's a good sentiment for doing that. I get the point about it may be outdated in some ways, and maybe the newer generation doesn't feel the same way. But I think it's a good unifying thing. It gets everybody together. A lot of times people are singing along, and it's also gets the home team hyped up. I mean, I can remember when we had runs in the Schmaltz Cup playoffs, we went pretty far, and we would have the arena packed, and people were singing along to the national anthem, and it would get you pumped up as a player. So I think there's still a place for it.
That's very cool. John, as somebody who served, does the national anthem still stir you before a Kitchener Rangers game?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a unifying thing. It's a tradition that both American and Canadian fans would appreciate. It's unifying. I think it brings us all together. And even if you look around the auditorium now, and I'm really happy to see that we're putting flags of the nations that are represented on our hockey club, and because those signs of nationality are important. They're important to each of us, and they're important to each of those players. So I think respect and pride and unification, I think those are great things. And I mean, let's face it, how would you like to go to the hockey game where they just drop the puck and away we go? I mean, to me, I would think that I forgot something or I got there late.
It's a great point.
I like it.
Those flags at the Memorial Auditorium, John, really good point. We often talk about the old portrait of the Queen, which is no longer, and some miss that, myself included. It was just something unique and memorable. But at that end of the rink, and I was in the arena before it got full not too long ago, and just paused to see it. You've got the Swiss flag up there for Christian Kirsch, the goaltender, the Finnish flag, obviously, for our head coach, and the Slovakian flag for Jakub Kromiak up there. It's great, along with, of course, our Canadian flag and the American flag for the U.S.-born players. Carl, what do you think? Should we do away with the anthem before sporting events?
No way. I love it. I've always loved it. I played my minor hockey and junior B hockey in Preston for the Preston Legion Raiders a long time ago, of course. But always loved the national anthem, at the beginning of the games. And even in minor hockey, where we cross the border sometimes, and the national anthem will be played. The other thing is every morning at school, in public school, in high school, the national anthem. And I thought that was great too. And I absolutely, I love it.
Are our Red Hawks still undefeated, Carl?
We are undefeated, Mike, and I was mentioning it to Neil there a little bit quietly earlier, but
The
Yeah.
Cyclones are not, if anyone is wondering.
I think Todd Bertuzzi, the coach of the Red Hawks, is doing a great job, and Spalding, former Kitchener Ranger, of course.
I'll give Spalls the credit. You have to say nice things about Bertuzzi. Look out if you don't. Come on.
You don't want to get sucker punched, Mike. You don't want to get sucker punched.
Carl Kiefer, Neil Anstett, John Hendry with us on the Friday Four Roundtable this morning. A quick break, and then perhaps what might turn out to be the most controversial topic we cover today. The very best Halloween candy is, and what time do the lights go off in front of the Kiefer, Anstett, and Hendry households tonight? Because there's a big game on or something. Stay with us as we continue the Friday Four Roundtable on the Mike Farwell Show this morning, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. This could just go on all day, but it wouldn't be Halloween without some organ music as well. And I love the email from Sue, official Farwell's Force member number 4. One of the early memberships going out to Sue, who just watched The Ghost and Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts. I mean, come on with your coming on. Great Halloween flick right there. And this is Vic Mizzy's, or Mick Vizzy, as I like to call him, Haunted Organ, by request from Sue, on this All Request Friday, Halloween Songs edition. Final topic for us to cover today. I worry that this might be a little bit on the controversial side. I have very strong opinions on at least the first part of this question, but John Hendry, Carl Kiefer, and Neil Anstett are with us. They're brave young men. John, I'm going to start with you. Best and worst Halloween candy?
Well, I would suggest chocolates have always been my favorite since I was a kid picking them up. I know I would throw them on the floor at the end of the night and sort everything out. And, you know, those hard Halloween candies, they would go either be given away or trash. And the chocolate bars would be lined up, and I would start eating nonstop till they were gone.
All right. Chocolate's got to be number one. I like it. Those hard Halloween candies, you mean the really chewy ones, or?
The taffy ones.
The taffy ones,
I never did like those. The ones that look like Flint's uniforms, you know, the black and orange things.
I know exactly the ones you mean. They were an acquired taste for me, but I know where you're coming from. Okay. Carl Kiefer, best and worst Halloween candy?
Best for me is chocolate too, Mike, and I love dark chocolate, and that's my favorite. And the worst are those candies, those brown, I don't know, what are they, peanut butter candies or whatever they're, ones you just described there.
Oh, yeah. They got some molasses in them, and yeah.
Molasses, yeah. And I'm not big on that. So, and as a kid, John reminded me, as a kid, we'd go around, and of course, in those days, you didn't get the mini chocolate bars. You got the full chocolate bars in the old days.
I never had a house in my neighborhood that gave out full size.
Yeah, well, we used to keep track of the houses, and then, of course, somehow we ended up there the second time.
I should have come to Princeton for trick-or-treating, Carl. Neil Anstett, best and worst Halloween candy?
So growing up, it was interesting having a mom that was born on Halloween. She would never accept trick or treat. It had to be happy birthday when kids came to the door. So if they knew her, that was fine. But for some kids that didn't know her, they kind of had this puzzled look on their face. In terms of candy, I'm fortunate because my wife actually looks after buying all the candy, and she makes sure that she gets the gluten-free stuff. She gets the stuff that doesn't have nuts, all these sorts of things. So your Kit Kats are good for kids that have peanut allergies. And then all those sorts of other ones that are the ones that I don't like, and I think you guys may agree on these. Black licorice, not a fan of those.
Amen.
And also the Tootsie Rolls, not a fan of those either. I look at those as filler. They just throw them in the bag and hope that people, I got another candy, but it's not really, you don't want that stuff, right?
Do the kids have to pay a dad tax, Neil, when they come home from trick-or-treating?
Well, I said to them, we have to have this all done by 8:00 because the game's on, and Dad's going to just have this it's going to need some food to watch during the game, right?
Right. Okay, so that's the second part of the question today, and you've touched on it. So 8 o'clock, the lights go out at the Anstead Place in Listowel because there's a big game on.
Yeah, so we're fortunate, as you guys know, Listowel has a long-standing association with baseball. We're a big baseball and hockey town, so I think most people are going to understand. My wife's already got a sign made up. Sorry, the game's on. Please come back or something. So I think people will understand, and I think most people, to be quite honest, will be done by 8 o'clock. It gets dark so early, as everyone knows, with daylight savings. So I mean, our kids will certainly be done by 6:30 at the latest. They can't go the full night like we used to be able to.
You're wearing your Blue Jays gear today, Neil. Are we going to do this thing tonight?
I hope we are, honestly. And I was just talking to the guys before the break or during the break, and I feel really confident with Gosman on the mound. And the Dodgers pitcher, I think Yashimoto's he's going to have to. He can't continue the way that he's been. I mean, he's been lights out. Something has to give. So I think if we get him early and get his pitch count up, we've already shown that the Dodgers bullpen, we can get to those guys as well. So I think if we can get him out of the game early, get his pitch count up, I think we're going to be okay.
I'm thinking the same thing with Yashimoto. How many complete games can the guy pitch? Enough already. John Hendry, lights out at 7:59, game on at 8. What do you think of our Blue Jays' chances?
Well, Mike, I'm Halloween challenged, I'm afraid. I live in an apartment building now, so the lights are out like right now. So in terms of the Blue Jays, I hate making predictions. I'm better off just keeping my fingers crossed. And we were talking before, and I think if they can get the contact up, perhaps not the hits in the first couple of innings, but at least making contact. And the Jays have a way of turning contact into hits, and they can do that second time around. But I'm hoping they can finish it off tonight, because I don't think the stress level for most people can go much beyond tonight.
I'm with you. Selfishly, I wouldn't hate a Game 7 because I would actually be able to watch it. Our Rangers game on Saturday is a 4 o'clock start in Brampton, so I would be home in time for the game. But I honestly believe this team can do it tonight, and why mess with a Game 7, in my opinion? Carl, Neil has got his Jays jersey on. You've got Jays T-shirt and ball cap. Nicely done. Obviously, you're rooting on the home team. What do you think of the Jays' chances?
I think they've got excellent chances. I mean, this team blows me away. The chemistry of the team, the players, and the management and coaches and everybody that gets along. I mean, I've never seen the likes of it in years. And I think Yashimoto is a problem, of course. I know that, but as been pointed out, if we can get to him in terms of contact, I think we can still do it. I mean, we seem to manufacture runs versus the home run thing. I think LA is more of a home run team versus getting manufacturing runs in that. And the plan at the Kiefer household is to be done at 8 o'clock, by the way, just in case. But I'll be listening. I'll be listening into the Ranger game, as I always do as well. And one more thing, Mike. I mean, I wanted to say, go Leafs, go Rangers, go, and go Red Hawks, go.
Absolutely. I mean, don't rub it in on Neil. The Cyclones aren't doing quite as well. But, your point too, Carl, on this Blue Jays team and how it's come together, I think John Schneider's impact on this team is perhaps being underappreciated. You look at these quote-unquote super teams like the Dodgers, where all Davey Roberts has to do is, they think they, just keep the players, performing at their best. We talked about it with Joe Torre, those great Yankees teams in basketball, Phil Jackson, how much work did he have to do, blah, blah. I think John Schneider, as the manager of this Jays team, has set the tone and created the culture for this team to be successful.
Absolutely, Mike, and I think it's not without him having he's made some mistakes.
Sure.
But who doesn't make mistakes? But the fact remains that, like you said, he needs to be credited for being the guy that's really putting the jam together here.
Carl Kiefer is a former regional and city councillor in Cambridge. Neil Anstead, currently a councillor in Listowel, municipality of North Perth. And John Hendry, a retired public school board trustee, now professional speaker and author. Thanks very much for making time in your day to join us. Enjoy the tricks and treats tonight. Enjoy the Blue Jays. Enjoy the Rangers, the Cyclones, the Red Hawks. We got a lot going on. Gentlemen, appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
John Hendry, Carl Kiefer, and Neil Anstead with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning, something we do every Friday between 11 and noon, and something newer to our Fridays is, of course, All Request Friday. And today, All Request is your Halloween song edition. So we've got more of those to play between noon and 1. What Halloween songs have we not yet heard? We dusted off the Addams Family theme song and the Monster Mash early today, but there are still more Halloween-themed songs to come. And, of course, the Friday tradition of open phone lines for our final hour together. It is Free Phones Friday. Do you want to talk about sports? There are plenty of sportsing things to talk about, primarily the Toronto Blue Jays. Are we going to wrap it up tonight? And let's forget the Who should sing the national anthem, which we've talked about quite a bit this week. What words should they sing to the national anthem tonight? It seems we agreed on the round table that we should sing the words as they are written for O Canada. Anything else you want to bring to the table? It is Free Phones Friday. Free for your ideas on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Girl of my dreams,
some Canadian content on our All Request Friday Halloween edition. Greg wanted to hear some Alias and Haunted Heart. I love Halloween. You might not know it if you're watching on Rogers TV Cable 20 today, because I didn't even think, quite frankly, to get into costume. I need to be better at this. I loved seeing my coworkers dressed up today in various things I didn't understand because I'm old. It's a video game thing. It's a K-pop thing. I had to ask. But the point is, they were much more into the spirit than I was. And then they teased me because I apparently dressed up like a grumpy old man, which I said is perfect because that's who I am, right? That's why you listen to this show, because you love the grumpy old man. Okay, you tolerate the grumpy old man that hosts the show. I was sharing that story with you at the beginning of the show today, way back with my 9 a.m.ers when we got underway at 9 this morning. And then I picked on my coworkers. They're making fun of me for not being dressed for the occasion. And I'm like, well, if you're so into Halloween, where's my Halloween candy? You didn't bring me no Halloween candy. But why do I need coworkers when I have you? And one of our loyal listeners, who just so happened to teach me in grade 5 at St. Anne's Elementary School in Kitchener. It blows my mind. I love that little coincidence that all these years later, Mrs. Moles, yes, Mrs. Moles, I'm going to shout you out because she brought in a half dozen butter tarts, still warm from the Hawksville Bakery, because she said you shouldn't be grumpy on the Halloween show. Mrs. Moles, I am not. I am now on a sugar high. Oh my God. Did I mention the butter tarts were still warm? Unreal. Okay, my story is out of the way. I got my treats early on this trick-or-treat Halloween day. More of your Halloween song requests to play in this hour, and of course, more of your voices to hear. It's Free Phones Friday, so make a call, start the conversation. I'm all ears. Doug is first. Good afternoon, Doug.
Good afternoon, Mike. So one of your 9 a.m.ers calling you 3 hours late.
I know. You usually are like first out of the gates because you're just getting your day started or you're in the truck or something.
Yeah, and this is a day off for me. So I think I mentioned that during the message I sent back. I shit with my beloved today. So I'm happy. It's I'm no grumpy old man here.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
But yeah, I'm in mostly agreement with most of the people who've been talking about the Jays. This team does not quit. They don't give up. They don't give in. And I'm pretty positive that Yamamoto, as good as he isn't going to keep the blinders on them forever. They're going to break out somewhere. And if Gosman is even so much as halfway as good as he's been, it's going to be a good game, but I think the Jays are going to do it.
Doug, I am so with you. I appreciate the call. I really do, and maybe that's a bad thing because I wasn't really sure about my feeling on Wednesday night, but I'm feeling pretty good today about our Blue Jays' chances. And speaking of being in agreement with our roundtable, the roundtable also agreed unanimously that our national anthem is not the place for your political statements and or posturing. And a couple of quick emails to share with you that came in following that conversation about a half an hour ago. M in Guelph, Farwell's Force member number 73, writes via email to Mike at 570news.com. I'm pretty sure I've never heard an anthem singer at any sporting or other event change the words to the national anthem of the United States. Some American event participants may take a knee as a form of protest, but they don't seem to change the words of their national anthem as far as I know. So why do some Canadian performers choose to do it? My reaction to such performers is that they're pretentious wannabes of some kind. In my opinion, they should choose other ways of expressing their political or social views. Just imagine if an American singer at a U.S.-Canadian sporting event changed the words to the Canadian national anthem. We wouldn't tolerate it. And then M in Guelph signs off with Go, Blue Jays, Go. It's a great point, I think, M. And as I said during the roundtable, I'm not stopping your freedom of expression. If you want to record a different version of something and see how we like it as the public, if you want to, take your cause and start a petition or take the issue to your MP, by all means, go through those channels. But I kind of agree with the political wannabe side of thing here. It's just not the place to make your statement. You were brought on for the honor of singing the anthem before the sporting event. Sing the ding dang anthem. And then Bruce's email to Mike at 570news.com. If we did not hear the national anthem before a sporting event, when would we hear it? I enjoy listening to it and would certainly miss it before the game. And I share that because I think we might run ourselves into a wall here if we continue to mess with the lyrics and frustrate the public. We might just do away with the anthems to do away with the problem and or the controversy. And then we'd be saying this is why we can't have nice things like an anthem before the game. So maybe next time you're asked to perform the anthem before a sporting event or some other event, you just sing the anthem. What do you think of that? Dave, Farwell's Force, member number 47. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. First of all, thumbs up to that M from Guelph and her statement that you read.
It was a good one, wasn't it?
It was. It was better what she wrote than what I was going to say.
She's a smart cookie.
Yeah. On the same subject, earlier this week, we talked about who was your favorite anthem singer or words to that effect, and you picked the one that overwhelmed me when you picked Anne Murray. So I was stuck, and I mentioned the person who I couldn't think of the name. So, and I told you she was the anthem singer for the Leafs prior to the current one.
Yes. Natalie something, right?
Yeah, I looked it up just now.
Yeah.
Martina Ortiz Louis.
Okay, Martina.
And she was 15 years old when she started.
Amazing.
Leafs anthem.
Well, hopefully she is only about 25 years old when they finally win a Stanley Cup.
Anyway, go Jays, go Rangers, go. Have a great afternoon, Mike.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate hearing from you on Free Phones Friday today. Look, Martina's got time. Some of us don't. Let's go, you Leafs. What are you doing to me with this rotten start to the season? Sean, you're on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This anthem thing. I have to agree with what your emailer said. You are there for the honor of singing the national anthem. Sing it. if you have something to say, get yourself elected, start a petition, but don't ruin it. Now, other countries, I notice, don't typically sing the national. Well, it's only Canada and the U.S. that seem to do the national anthem thing. If you watch football matches from Europe, they don't do the national anthem, only at international events. I noticed that.
Oh, interesting, Sean. I don't pay enough attention to sports, I guess, beyond North America, but I'm certainly accustomed to it here, and I do continue to enjoy it. And, this just popped into my head when I was complaining about the Leafs a moment ago. You remember back in April and May, right, where probably even into June for a little bit, we weren't so sure about this Blue Jays team. And now look at us. So maybe this is the Toronto sports model for 2025, huh? Huh? Let's go, you Leafies. Let's go, you Blue Jays. Let's go, you Kitchener Rangers. And you, give us a call. It's Free Phones Friday on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
To tell about this guy, you all know me, has me scared as hell. He comes to me at night after I crawl into bed. He's burnt up like a weenie and his name is Fred. He wears the same hat and sweater every single day, and even if it's hot outside, he wears it anyway. He's home when I'm awake, but he shows up when I'm asleep. I can't believe that there's a nightmare on my street.
That would be the Fresh Prince. I think before he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was just the Fresh Prince. And DJ Jazzy Jeff with Nightmare on My Street. Also, I think before the Fresh Prince became Will Smith, Hollywood megastar. Oh, yeah, and then he slapped. Who did he slap again? Chris Rock. Anyway, that's the backstory on A Nightmare on My Street by request from Kyle on this All Request Friday. Halloween Songs edition. Beware, okay? This is what should scare you, and you probably know this by now. Everything you do, everything you ask for, everything you say will be turned into some goofy tangent by me. So let me just get back to the phones. It's a busy one on Free Phones Friday. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, are you surprised that I took that song?
It's a great song. I love it.
I'm surprised you didn't dress up for Halloween.
Are you really, though?
Yeah, I thought you would have dressed up as, maybe... I have no, that's I don't know, maybe something out of character, not just a radio host that wears his regular cardigan sweater.
You're watching on Rogers TV today. You got to admit, though, I love this cardigan sweater.
I mean, it's a pullover. Remember Dumb and Dumber? No, sorry, it's a cardigan.
It's not a pullover. It's like a sweater jacket. Anyway, get on with enough of my fashion tips today. Shout out Channers in Uptown Waterloo. They dress me well.
Let's get this pumped up for tonight, Game 6.
Yeah.
I think they could do it. If not, they definitely got it tomorrow. But you know what? Let's go Jays. If you're going to the Cyclones game tonight, we are pushed back by an hour. Original puck drop was set for 7:30. It is now 6:30 because we like to accommodate our fans that want to go home and watch the World Series tonight. So just a shout out. Go Jays, go. Go Rangers, go. You guys got this. Let's go. Game 6, one more. World Series, baby. Let's go, Blue Jays!
Kyle is not going to have a voice for the rest of the day and or night. And if I didn't know Kyle any better, I'd think he was trolling us. The number of angry emails I have received today. Listen, I just broadcast the games. I do not set game times. But fans have been pretty frustrated that there's no change to the time of the game in Kitchener tonight. I've been telling you all along, okay? You'll get a full period of Rangers hockey in before the first pitch of the Blue Jays game. And the game's going to be on in the concourse at the Memorial Auditorium tonight, I promise. But if you're a listable Cyclones fan and you're planning to go to that GOHL game tonight, it starts at 6:30, okay? Why we're playing any games on Halloween night is curious to me, regardless. If I'm being honest, why bother competing with trick-or-treating? But I digress. It's Free Phones Friday. Lisa, good afternoon.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I don't have quite the enthusiasm. Well, I do, but I'm not going to vocalize it. It's the same way that Kyle does. He's got to be a number one fan for sure. I'm a couple years older than him, so I do actually remember we had the 92, 93 World Series on VHS. That kind of dates me a little bit. But you're talking about the national anthem and people who sing it and who some who botch it horribly. I would like to see them have the fans sing a cappella, because that's one of the most moving ways to hear our national anthem. I've heard it a few times with when they've had issues with the microphones, and the fans just step up and do it. And I mean, when you can hear them over the singer and how loud they are, it's amazing. And I think that would be something that would maybe intimidate the Dodgers a little bit too when they step out on the field. So I'd like to see that tonight.
I love that idea, and I think you're so right. When the stadium gets behind the anthem singer and, performs, but you're saying let's even forego the singer and just get the fans to do it. Yeah.
That's right. Just have the fans do it and sing loud and proud, and I think that would be that's a moving thing to hear our national anthem like that, and the people in the audience singing it, and you can tell the pride in being a Canadian. I think that's something that's really special. So anyway, go Jays, go.
Thanks, Lisa. Great to hear from you today. Love that idea. Some of those anthem singers like to, at a certain point of the anthem, just hold the microphone out from their mouth so the fans can sing a part of it. The guy does that in London. It's not bad. So I'm going to OHL again. It's not bad. Like, I love the idea. But in London, they turn up the sound so loud in the arena that the vocalist is so overpowering, you can almost not hear the fans. But in general, certainly supportive of that idea. It's always a great feeling and vibe when it happens. And then to Lisa's point, maybe we'll just no singer. We got 40,000 national anthem soloists tonight, and they will, in accompaniment, sing a cappella for O Canada. I love it. Mary, you are next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Oh, this is Mary number one.
Number one on Farwell's Force.
A force for good.
A force
for change.
A force
for...
to be reckoned with.
Right.
Right.
I am to be reckoned with.
I know you are, Mary. I would never cross you.
Anyway, I was going to make... Oh, you had your ear cleaned out of wax.
Oh.
Did that, Kyle singing in your ear, did that kind of blow you away?
If you were watching on Rogers TV, Cable 20, just a moment ago, I actually had to remove one side of my headphone because the ear that's been cleaned out, Mary, it's still so weird. I can't get over how much different life sounds right now.
Yeah, so sensitive. But anyway, of course, I will say go Rangers, go Jays, go. But I want to say another person mentioned because I have to watch soccer because my husband's from Liverpool, right? No, they don't have anthems sung there. Each club has their own song that they choose to have.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've heard those before, sure, yeah.
So the Liverpool team has You'll Never Walk Alone.
Can you sing it for me?
You'll never walk alone.
That's pretty good.
Anyway, my husband's team, and it goes by, his team is the Catholic team, and they hardly ever win. And they have a silly song. And then when I was over in Liverpool, I saw on a rack, if you're for Everton, you'll always walk alone.
They do not get along, those different soccer clubs. Listen,
I wish I'd bought that T-shirt for my husband.
Which T-shirt? Oh, yeah.
I just said.
I got you. Yeah.
If you're for Everton, you'll always walk alone.
Let me ask you this, Mary, if I may. You said you have to watch soccer because your husband's from Liverpool. Why? My beloved likes the team that shall not be named. I don't watch their stupid
no,
games.
No. We're in sync. Hey,
okay.
Like, Saturday and Sunday, it's the soccer days. Listen, either you join them or you sit by yourself. I learned because soccer wasn't in my past. I know more than he does now.
Good job, Mary.
Yeah. And hey.
Yeah.
Have a good game tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a great day and a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Okay. That's our good friend Mary. Number 1 on the Farwell's Force official membership list. The Kitchener Rangers tonight are having a Halloween game. Wear your costume to the game. Kids, you can pick up some treats at the dressing room after the game. They're giving tours as well. Not bad for your trick-or-treat night. And if you can't make it, don't worry. Harris Law pregame show coverage starts at 6:30 right here on 570 News Radio, your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey, with me and Josh Piercy. And we're going to take you right through the night, and we will give you Blue Jays updates along the way. This is the Mike Farwell Show. Free Phones Friday continues on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Just inject this one directly into my veins, or my ears for that matter. Blue Oyster Cult and Don't Fear the Reaper. By request for Phil on your All Request Friday, Halloween Songs edition. I love that tune. I also love Free Phones Friday, the way that we close out our week together each and every week. It's the final hour before we have to shut up for 48 anyway. We don't get to talk to each other again until Monday, so we love doing this as our final hour of the week. It's called Free Phones Friday, which means the phone lines are free for your use. We're not giving away free phones, but you make the call. We'll answer it, and you tell us what's on your mind. Topics are completely up to you today, so let's go back to the phones for Greg. Good afternoon, Greg.
Hi, Mike. 38 here.
Farwell's Force member number 38. Good day, sir.
And requester of Haunted Heart by Alias. Hope you liked it, because that song, it pumped me up. Like I was, now I'm even more pumped for today than I was before. But, so hopefully others liked it, too. And I didn't know it. Give it a chance. And now you're gonna make me gain weight today. You know that?
How so? What did I do?
I'm 60 seconds away from the Hawksville Bakery, and you just reminded me,
Greg,
how great their stuff is there.
So good.
Oh, I've given you some of the tarts before from there. So
you never served. You never brought them in warm.
No, I can't control that. but no, I'm addicted to their Mini John. So if anybody else is looking for something Mini John's, it's like, huh. In fact, that was my family contribution to Thanksgiving, and there was no complaints.
Okay, hang on a second. A Mini John, like a Long John, like an eclair?
Yeah, but maybe 4 or 5 inches long, but just overflowing with whipped cream and, I don't know what they do. Like, it almost reminds me like a Krispy Kreme donut kind of texture, but then full of whipped cream. And, yeah, go for it. Or maybe I'll bring you one sometime if you behave.
If I behave? Listen,
Yeah.
when have I not behaved?
Oh, I've heard stories.
Settle down.
I'll leave those for another day. And then just a quick note on the anthems thing. Like, I'm not really wrapped up in it. I'm always sort of question, like, why at sporting events? Like, why not then at a concert sing wherever the country the group is from? Like, and unfortunately, in this day and age, it's just one more thing to divide people, because there's going to be differing opinions. Someone's getting offended. So in this age of getting offended, it's like, okay, if you took it away, well, someone's going to be maybe okay, the rest aren't. So I don't think there's not really a winning answer out there for it.
It's a fair point, Greg, but I hope they don't take away the anthem. Why don't we just sing it? That should be the answer, shouldn't it? Just sing it the right way.
Oh yeah, well, that too. If you're going to have it, but then again, just sort of deeper, and like you don't sing before concerts, or basically that's some people going to work. That's their job to go play the game. We don't sing it before we go in and do some accounting and payroll, or so that's the thing. So it's it's you're not gonna. It's just one more thing you're not going to satisfy everybody on. There's no one right answer, and we got enough that we argue about in general in this world. So
all right, fair enough.
For what that's worth. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Great.
Enjoy those mini johns.
Oh, yeah, I'm into it.
Attaboy, Hawksville Bakery. And I couldn't help but think, did you hear the story? Because Greg's talking about how good those mini johns are filled with the whipped cream. Did you hear the one about the $80,000 theft of whipped cream in Guelph? Same place where the butter thefts were going on like about a year ago, right? So first it's butter, now it's whipped cream. Like, what kind of stuff are you into if you need $80,000 worth of whipped cream? That's perishable, Anyway, there is a market for anything and everything. And there seems to be I don't know if it's a level of desperation or a level of brazenness. Like, what is safe anymore? Tractor trailer carrying butter? Nope. Tractor trailer carrying whipped cream? Nope. $80,000 in whipped cream. All right. That's a lot of pumpkin pie you're going to be topping. Andre, you are on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Game day, baby.
Game day, baby. Times 2.
I'm calling because I've been hearing it, and I agree with the 4 panel on this about the anthem. I think they changed the lyrics. It's very disrespectful. I had 2 cousins who served in the military, and they are very proud and consider their conditions to serve, and that should not change. So my opinion, Mike, is they should go in jackwagon jail if they want to change it, or if they do, they should do it on their own. Like you said, they want to make your own publicity. That's fine, but to be respectful. And like Lisa said too, I do like that you can share it with the fan. I love that because then you get the fan pumped up, or even let the fan even do it all, just play the music. So I want to say, go Jays, go Rangers, go, and go your wife's team.
Okay, you're close. I'm just going to let it go there because I don't want any support for that team, even though my beloved cheers for them too. I'm getting so much. You just wait. You fans of the team that shall not be named, you just wait, because things are going to change. You're not going to stay there in first place forever. You watch and see. But anyway, enjoy your moment in the sun, you and your toilet seat for a logo. Andre gets me thinking about the great day it is to be a sports fan. And I remember when he's doing Go Jays Go, Go Rangers Go. Last week at the Rangers game, there was a Go Jays Go chant at the end of, near the end of the game. The fans at the Memorial Auditorium started a Go Jays Go chant, which was pretty awesome to hear. And the last person we put into jackwagon jail, which also sparked a memory for me, was earlier this week. We put into jackwagon jail the young man, 21 years of age, pulled over for speeding in Guelph, 4 times the speed limit, 4 times the speed limit, and then found 30 empty cans of alcohol in the vehicle and a cannabis pipe. You know what would not have led to that arrest and charge? A speed camera, because all it does is take a picture and then send a fine in the mail. Good thing our police were there, eh? And so on that note, let's just take a moment to celebrate. The countdown is on. 2 weeks left for those stupid speed cameras. It's going to be a good day, November the 14th, when the province yanks them out on cities, right? Next, we go to Dave on Free Phones Friday. Dave, is this your first time calling the show?
Yes, it is. I've tried other times. Yes!
Thank you, Dave.
It's a popular show.
Well, it's a show, Dave, but I appreciate you thinking it's popular.
Oh, it is.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to broach something a little different. I live on Lancaster on the hill.
I know it very well. So on the hill going up towards Guelph? Or
Guelph Street, yes.
Yep. Okay, I got you, yeah.
Okay, I've been here 30-some-odd years, and they are re-engineering Lancaster.
Oh, my gosh, I know, because of that proposal for the big development, right?
No, this was before that. They were going to do all the infrastructure. Now, apparently, they're going to move the road over on the hill 3 meters into my property.
Wait a minute. So let me just get my mind's eye around this. I'm driving Lancaster Street up the hill past Louisa towards Guelph Street.
Yeah.
And they're going to move the road over? Are they widening?
No, they're going to move it over where it bends. It's a pie shaped, so they're expropriating parts of 40 some odd properties to do this, and they're talking about putting a bike lane on with the sidewalk.
Of course they are.
And now with the project, backyard has got the oil tanks.
Yep.
And their front parking lot is right beside my back property.
Okay.
Okay, now they're putting 9 towers in there, 26 plus units plus commercial, and they're allowing 2,200 some odd parking spots for those 2,600 units, and you're looking at probably 3,000 to 4,000 cars. They did a traffic flow study, and they said, Lancaster can handle the traffic. Now, 7 years ago, my neighbor and I proposed putting 24 stacked townhouses in. We did the traffic flow study. We went to the city, and the city said, no, you can't do it. Lancaster can't handle the additional traffic.
What do you think changed materially, Dave?
Money.
If you follow it, you usually get to an answer.
Okay, now, trying to think. The other one, I sit and watch the traffic between 4 and 5:30, and it's backed up to Guelph Street at points.
Mm-hmm.
You add another 3,000 cars to that?
Forget about it. I'm curious about this, too, since you watch the traffic, because I know Lancaster very well. I used to back and forth to Bredeff Park all the time, down to Union there and over to the park. But so it's a lot of time in that neighborhood when I was a kid. How many bicycles do you see going up and down Lancaster?
Okay, a handful every week.
A handful every week.
A lot of times they don't ride up, they walk up.
Uh-huh. But we need a bike lane there, don't we?
Well, if they put it on actually the road is wide enough now to put a bike lane on.
Sure.
On the road.
Yeah.
Because if I pull over to the line, a car can pass me going the same direction.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. I got you.
So put it on the road.
Sure.
They're also talking about clearing the snow off the bike lane if they put it beside the sidewalk.
Well, of course, they have to do that, right? That's part of the whole deal. Oh, boy.
So they came up with 3 proposals as planning, and they never proposed to leave the road where it was and just do the infrastructure.
Right.
So somebody in the planning department is pro-bicycle.
That's a lot of them are these days, Dave. Listen, I appreciate you calling in and talking about this today. I hope I hear from you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I love Lancaster Street. It's just nostalgia for me. The neighborhoods I used to like. Talk to me about the corner of Duke and Wellington sometime, okay? Because I will talk your ear off. And Shanley Street, back in the old North Ward, like, come on with your coming on. I will reminisce about that stuff all day. But so many fond memories of exactly what Dave's talking about from when I was a wee lad. Take my bike over there on Saturday mornings to get into Bredeff Park. Anyway, sorry, tangent. I want to get to Peter because he's. I understand, Peter, you're another first-time caller?
That's right.
Yes!
I think this is our 5th or 6th first-time caller of the day. This is a new record. Thanks for calling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm just pulling an Anna Mays to get my Friday fritter.
Come on. Wait a minute. Anna Mays? Can I put it in order?
Well, you sure can. Usually when they come at this time of day, they're hot still.
Oh.
I don't tell you how good a hot fritter is until,
Peter, you're killing me. I love me some Anna Mays pie.
There you go.
Okay.
So I played varsity football and many other sports in that caliber, and there was nothing more of a feeling than standing in the middle of the field, listening to the national anthem. It just made you feel big time, even if you weren't, but it made you have that feeling,
Absolutely.
So as a player, I loved it. In the stands today, I love it. And my kids are world travelers. They've been to all over up to 80, 90 countries. And a lot of their friends drop into our house to reciprocate. And a lot of these people from around the world don't know their national anthem. I'm talking Aussies type and maybe parts of Europe. They don't know the words. They don't know their song. And the reason why we do is because of our culture and what we do. And I think we don't want to let that go. End of story. I'm pro-national anthem. My kids are, that's kind of stupid. Wait, guys, it's only a minute. How long is it? A minute and a half?
Absolutely. If you drag it out, maybe a minute 45, but come on. No, it's, you know what? Great point. And I'm with you. Like, I love it as a spectator. There's that feeling that comes with it before the game. And I think you're onto something there. That's why we know, because we go to sporting events and it's performed.
So it is an old-fashioned event, but I don't want to let it go, because imagine in 2 generations from now, if the kids don't know, Canada, because today we decided it's corny. Anyway, enough said.
All right, go get that fritter.
Bye.
Bye. Peter calling in as he's pulling into Animes. Are we having ourselves a day on this show or what? Hawksville Bakery, warm butter tarts delivered right to the studio today by my 5th grade teacher, no less. And Peter pulling into Animes for a warm fritter. Anime, you know Animes. I'm not going to tell you about you want a pie? Go see Animes. Okay. And you want to stay a little bit closer. So when you're out in the country, you go to Animes. You know this, right? When you're in town, I'm going to tell you about Just Love Pie. Hello. Sweet and Savory Pie Company, 2 locations, Uptown Waterloo and at the Blackstone Plaza, Bridge and Northfield. I promise you, like, we had some at Thanksgiving. Forget about it. Just forget about it. Anyway, that tangent, unsolicited, but I know my sweets, okay? I know my baked goods, and I want to share the deliciousness with you. It's a good thing. It's a good thing watching sports burns calories. Wait, it doesn't? Oh. Now I understand. Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
I put a spell on you. Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. What's up? I ain't lying.
That one's for my buddy Dan, who wanted to hear some. There's the Screamin' Jay of Screamin' Jay Hawkins fame. I put a spell on you. All Request Friday, Halloween Songs edition. It's also that time of the week where we open up the phone lines. Well, we do it every day, but on Fridays, I don't know, there's something special about it. Noon to 1 every day, our Talkback Hour. But on Fridays, it's Free Phones Friday, in keeping with a bit of tradition here on the show. Our last chance to have a one-on-one before the weekend intrudes, and we have to wait until Monday morning again. So let's get right back to the phones. Hear more from you. Grant, good afternoon.
Those donuts, those butter tarts.
I know. Are you getting hungry?
I feel like driving over there and grabbing them, but no, I can't eat that.
Hawksville for some butter tarts, Millbank for some Animes. I'm telling you. Or, Grant, just go up the road. Just go to Waterloo and check out Sweet and Savory Pie Company. I'm telling you. I'll never steer you wrong, buddy. I'll never steer you wrong.
We were watching this YouTube video, True North Conspiracy.
Boy.
Yeah, this guy...
I don't know, Grant. I don't know if you want to go down that rabbit hole, do you?
I don't agree with him. He tapes a lot of people, and people are saying, no, I don't want to be taped. It's a privacy concern. No, it's not. I can do whatever I want. And
so what is it? That's just this guy walking around recording people randomly?
Randomly going to maybe outside of a restaurant and filming them.
And why does he do this?
He says he's a journalist. Well, and then when you approach him and ask him what's his name and who's paying you, he won't say it.
But what's he talking to these people about? Why does he want to do this?
I think it's just to agitate them, right?
It kind of sounds like my show, Grant. I'm joking. I'm not here to agitate you. I'm here to listen to you and engage in conversation with you every day. I promise. I know we get kind of fired up, but sometimes there are things to be fired up about, right? And I'm sure there will be more of those things when next week rolls around. But for now, we must bid adieu for the weekend ahead. I hope you'll make time to join us on our Kitchener Rangers coverage tonight. Harris Law pregame show starts at 6:30. Rangers Sudbury Wolves puck drops at 7, and then Josh Piercy and I stick around for Rangers talk after the game as well. We'll keep you up to date all through the Rangers game about that Blue Jays score. I promise you that. And I also promise you this. No matter what, by Monday, there will be a World Series winner. I think it's going to be the Blue Jays. So we're either going to talk about that first thing Monday morning or talk about how they lost a 3-2 series lead. I think we'll be talking about their third World Series championship, but that'll start things off on Monday. I hope you enjoy the weekend ahead and you find some time to tune in over the weekend. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.